is in the house. Yeah, 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 yeah. We are kicking it with Auntie Leah. Yeah, let's get it, let's do it, let's go. Yeah, let's go, let's get it with Auntie Leah. Yeah, yeah, come on, let's do it. Nothing better than kicking it with Auntie Leah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie Leah is in the house. Yeah, 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 yeah. We are kicking it with Auntie Leah. Yeah, let's get it, let's do it. Come on in. Come on in now. So Auntie Leah can do a thing. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mississippi.
Yo, welcome back.
Three boats
Kicking
with
it
the
with
Horn
Auntie Leah
Island.
in the Truth Gang. What a
Everybody came back except Nolan Xavier Wells.
Leo in the
They brought his phone home, but they left somebody's son behind.
This time,
We want every answer. Mississippi, cough 'em up, cough 'em
go.
up, cough 'em up.
Yeah,
Look at everybody, please share the live.
Yeah, yeah.
Just waiting on some more people to come in.
4th of July, headed out in the sun. 3 boats on the water, but they came back -1. Nolan was 18 with his whole life plan. College football dreams and the future in his hands. They went to Horn Island, everybody there together. Sun on the coast, clear summertime weather. But something went wrong before the end of the day. When the boats left the island, Nolan somehow stayed. They said he made a choice, said he wanted to remain, but he cannot tell his side, so the question still remains. Why would he stay without his keys or his phone? Why would everybody leave and assume he made it home?
who was the last one to see him on the sand? Who counted every person for the boats left land? Everybody got
We
a
ain't gonna
story,
never
but the
shut
town
up.
got a hold. Mississippi tell Christine what happened to her soul.
Hey,
Her baby didn't come home.
cop
Her
'em up.
baby couldn't call. Everybody had an answer, but nobody knew it all. If you were there with Nolan,
A couple more minutes.
come
Wait on
forward
people to
with the
come in.
truth.
Thank you for the 50 in the building.
Mother needs an answer.
Please hit the like button.
What
and
happened
share
to
the live.
you?
Hey, Maria.
Cough 'em
Hey,
up,
cop 'em
cough
up.
'em
Cop 'em up.
Mississippi, cough 'em up this time. Bringing boys forward,
Everybody
put the
drop
truth
justice
on the
for
line.
Nolan Wells
We
in the
are not
comments.
declaring guilt, we are demanding facts. Tell us
Yeah,
what
we need to
happened to
know.
Nolan and don't hold nothing back. Cough 'em up, Mississippi. Every phone and every boat, every picture, every message, every word that they spoke.
His mother needs the truth. His father needs it too.
Cough 'em up, Mississippi.
Cough 'em
Tell us what
up.
happened to Nolan Wells.
Cough up the truth. Bring every hidden detail to the light.
Everybody in the bushes. Truth Gang in the building.
Mississippi,
Everybody
get
type
it
justice
right
for
this
Nolan Wells in the
time.
comments.
431, they reportedly pulled away. But when was Nolan last independently seen that day? There's a window in the timeline, questions in between. What happened after 4 and what did witnesses see? One
we
boat
wanna
taking
know.
water, bills pumped, acting strange. A call went out for help, then the energy seemed to change.
Everybody
Voices in the background, confusion on the line. Who was on which
Nolan
vessel
Wells.
at that exact time? They reached the mainland, moved from place to place, but nobody turned around to search the island for his face. His mother knew a baby
Justin,
would not vanish on his own. After midnight, she
gonna never shut
reported
up
that her son
till I
had not
tell
come home. Search teams hit the water when the morning brought the light. Then July 6th, the
Just a few
news
more
that shattered
minutes, not a
every
few more
life.
minutes, wait on
Nolan's body found, but the questions only grew.
Right about a
Finding
minute
him was
or
not
so.
the same as finding out the
Hey.
truth.
Her baby didn't come home
At all.
Her baby couldn't call. Everybody had an answer, but nobody knew it all. If you were there
Shout out
with
to everybody in the
Nolan,
bushes.
come forward with the truth.
Never been to my channel
Mother
before.
needs an answer.
All the music.
What
is
happened
about
to
me.
you?
Cough 'em up,
Hey.
cough 'em up, cough 'em up, Mississippi, cough 'em up this time. Bring them boys forward, put the truth on the line. We are not declaring guilt, we are demanding facts. Tell us what happened to Nolan and don't hold nothing back. Cough 'em phone and every boat, every picture, every message, every word that they spoke. His mother needs the truth, his father needs it too. Call from up Mississippi, tell us what happened to Nolan Wells. Cough up the truth, bring every hidden detail to the light. Cough up the truth,
Justice for
Mississippi,
Nolan
get it
Wells.
right this time. They did the autopsy, held the findings for review. The family sought another because they need answers too. Independent examination left the cause of man opinion. The family's lawyer said the investigation was my ending. Questions about his neck, questions behind his head, questions about the tissue and what the findings really say. Where is the final report? What will the evidence show? How did Nolan lose his life? His family deserves to know. FBI assistant county still leading the case. Grand jury expected to review the evidence in place. Ben Crump still beside him said examine every fact. If the light.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your patience. We appreciate you coming back to Kickin with the Truth Gang. And Auntie Leah, we really appreciate you for being here. Again, thank you so much for being here. You know, it's a lot of craziness going on with this Nolan Wells case. I think they just trying to scare us and make us want to shut up. But you know me, the more you threaten me, the louder I get. Because I can't be punked. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do to me. It's crazy work out here. I mean, somebody sent me this list of potential creators that are supposed to be sued. And I made number 24 on the list. I'm going to show y'all this. Hold on a second. It's a lot of them. These people are crazy as hell if they think they're going to make somebody shut up. We're not shutting up. All you're doing is wasting your time. Wasting it. So it's like 90 something people on here. I am number 24. Leah A. Ficklin is my Facebook name. Don't know if they know my YouTube channel, but that is me. So, and they have Don Lemon on here, Tammy Woodruff. They have Kimberly. I don't know if this is official. This is an official list because Secret Service Sam put it out as an alleged list. At the end of the day, do what you got to do, because what we're not going to do is we're not going to stop asking questions. All we want to know is what happened to Nolan Wells. Okay? Now, I ran across something else on TikTok that looks, not TikTok, what is that? X. And it looks like that Sarah, her name is Sarah Fields, has also put out a call for screenshots and things. So I'm going to show you guys that because they really are trying. And then we're going to watch an interview of the lawyers that is behind all of the alleged and so-called defamation lawsuits that are coming. You know what? Sue, nobody is scared of a lawsuit. It's not like you can send somebody to jail. The only place I'm scared of is jail. I'm scared of jail. I'll be honest. I don't want to go to jail. I can't survive in jail. I couldn't make it in jail. No. I don't want to go to jail. Okay? Defamation, you can't send me to jail. Okay? That's all that matters. That's it. Take us to court. That means you have to prove what you are alleging or claiming is a fact, and you are allowed to be cross-examined as well as the boys will have to be deposed. So I'm like Al Sharpton. Do what you got to do. I'm looking for Sarah's, what is her middle name? She put out a post calling for screenshots and or videos. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I guess the song did it. I guess it must have been a song that pissed them off. I don't know. But I said what I said. So here is Sarah just Sarah Fields. She is calling for screenshots and stuff like that. Can you guys see that? Let me see. I think you can. Let me make it bigger. I'm going to go ahead and just read a little bit of it. And you guys can screenshot this live, record it, and send it on over. Because a lot of us, actually the majority of us, would love for you to sue. I'm just saying. So she says, call for screenshots, videos, and post Nolan Wells case. I'm sure by now many of you know that I'm working directly with the attorneys representing the boys who have been threatened and defamed in connection with the Nolan Wells case. We have now opened a Dropbox for anyone who has screenshots, videos, posts, or other documentation involving Warren, Jax, or Morgan. Well, where'd Bart go? Where Bart name? Where Bart name at? Damn it, Bart. Where's Bart's name? So now it's just Warren Jackson. Who the hell Jackson? I don't know who Jax is. And now there's a new name, Morgan. Who is Morgan? Sarah, we've never heard of the name Morgan. I know that Jack's name is on the fundraiser, but who is Morgan? Good to know. Good to know. But let's keep reading. Please understand what we are looking for. We do not need random comments or posts with 2 to 3 likes and almost no views. We are looking for the big voices, people with large platforms, viral videos, viral posts, significant engagement, or substantial reach. We have created one specific folder for Ben Crump. Everything involving him should go there. What is this? A scare tactic? Intimidation? I call it bullshit. Nobody is scared. Like absolutely no one, Sarah, is scared of your bullshit. So it goes on to say, the remaining folders are for large creators, influencers, public figures, media personalities, and others whose content received significant attention. So, your attempt is to silence the ones with the big crowd, to stir your narrative, to try to shut them down. I pray to God that these larger creators are not scared. And I don't know why I'm on the list, because I ain't got shit to lose. Y'all should have did some research. I just don't care. Period. But let's continue. If you have something you believe meets these criteria and would like to help, please DM me and I will provide you with the Dropbox link. And please, if you have the original screenshot or screen recording showing the account name, date, views, likes, shares, or other engagement numbers, send that version whenever possible. Preserve the original content and context. We want to thank all of you for your continued help and support. So many of you have been documenting this from the beginning, and that documentation has been preserved. It's time to hold people accountable. Oh, you mean like how Janetta Brantley preserved the audio that she enhanced so that others can hear what we were already hearing more clear? You're talking about that enhancement, right? The one that you're defaming. This is the lady that you're defaming. I'm going to pull up that video because I want to remind you that you're on social media defaming this woman, trying to convince the world that what she did was wrong. Listen to this. It's crazy work, guys. Listen to this. Can I get everybody to please hit the like button? We'll get into some comments soon. She is a batshit crazy. This lady crazy. Because if I was a cusser, I'll cuss you out. I ain't even gonna lie. But let's go.
Now we're trying to walk it back.
I actually started realizing, like, I think this is exactly what I heard. That's what made me want to put it out to just make sure I'm not tripping. Like, y'all be the judge. This is what I heard, but don't take what I'm saying as facts. Like, I want y'all to listen too and see, like, let's converse about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see what y'all think y'all are hearing.
What's the trust that you know exactly what you're doing? How can we trust you with this audio enhancement?
It's what I do for a living. It's literally my profession. I have a bachelor's in music production and a master's in entertainment business. But with that bachelor's in music production from Full Sail, they also taught, audio engineering and things like that.
Alrighty, let's talk about it.
Let's Mega Crash Outs episode 90. The woman being interviewed in that clip is the audio engineer who cleaned up the Nolan Wells audio from the call made to the Cito company. Guess what my degree is in? Music and entertainment industry studies with an emphasis in technology. In other words, recording arts. You know what I did the last year of my education? Forensic audio. Yeah, let's talk about it.
This woman had the audacity to go on this man's show and try to say that she was not spreading a narrative. And she was just trying to make sure that you all made up your own minds about what she knew she was hearing.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me that you have all this smoke for a Black content creator, but not Nancy Grace.
Bingo.
Who used the exact same audio, not the edited version, and came to the exact same conclusions about what was being said.
Bingo.
But no mention of that here.
An audio that she edited added an extra 20 seconds to the C2 call connected to the Norm Wells case. She also tried to say that she was qualified because of her experience and knowledge and education in music production. And she tried to say that with her bachelor in music production, she had education in audio engineering. Let me explain why this is not accurate. You are not qualified, and you did try to push a narrative.
And let me explain why it is accurate. She is qualified, and this narrative just happens to be substantiated by quite a bit of evidence.
To who I am now and what experience and education I have now. I have an associate's degree in commercial broadcasting with a specialty in communications, which is my qualifier for journalism and being a reporter.
So an associate's makes you qualified to be a journalist, along with commenting on audio engineering. You might want to be careful calling out other people's professional accreditations when yours are quite so weak.
I have a bachelor degree in gerontology, which is the study of aging from beginning to end. And I have a master degree in psychology with specialty in health and wellness.
I mean, maybe she does, who knows? Either way, really not at all relevant to audio engineering. But the reason I'm skeptical is because most people who have achieved that level of education will refer to it as a master's or a bachelor's and specify what kind of master's or bachelor's. For example, mine is a Bachelor of Science. You don't just call it a master degree.
If your goal was to allow people to make up their own minds, you would have uploaded the original recording and let people listen to it.
You mean like Nancy Grace did and came to the exact same conclusions? It's just funny how they'd never have smoke for the white.
I agree 1,000%. Why isn't Nancy Grace on this list? This is your attempt to take down Black content creators, and this is your attempt to silence the white content creators that fight for justice alongside Black people. Your racism is showing, Sarah. It's showing. Let's keep going. Because you don't have the galls to go against Nancy Grace, who did the same exact thing as Janetta Brantley with the audio. And guess what, Sarah? We all heard the same thing. It doesn't matter what you do, how you try to deflect, how you try to threaten. We'll never stop asking what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells. Period.
Lady.
But that's not what you did. Instead, you edited audio from an active criminal investigation.
Lies.
Yeah, to be clear, it's publicly available audio. That's how she got it, and everyone else has heard the call. This is not like she's in the thick of the criminal investigation here.
And then you created a script telling people exactly what you wanted them to hear. FYI, this is called priming. And I learned about it in psychology.
Oh, that master degree was certainly worth it. I learned about priming. And to be clear, with my audio engineer ears, I listened to the audio every which way it has been cut. And I heard the exact same thing. She is accurate in that transcription.
This is not letting people decide for themselves. This is called creating a narrative. Then you tried to justify it by saying you have a bachelor degree in music production and training in audio engineering.
Yeah, from Full Sail, which to be clear is kind of the gold standard for audio engineering. You know who they're hiring? as forensic audio investigators, people who graduated from Full Sail with that very degree.
So let's talk about why that is misleading. A standard bachelor degree in audio engineering, in music production, does not teach you how to isolate audio for a criminal investigation. They are two completely different classes and disciplines.
No, they're not. The exact same disciplines. What do you think we're doing in music production and audio engineering, right? Isolating certain vocal tracks, right? Different triggers, reducing noise in others to make it as clear as possible. The only difference is they teach you things like chain of custody, which is important, obviously, in criminal investigations. Beyond that, exact same discipline.
Music production is about making audio sounds better. By the way, I am a worship leader in my church. I know a little bit about music.
Oh, fuck, she's a worship leader. I didn't know that. That changes everything. She certainly is qualified to speak on audio engineering as the woman with a degree in audio engineering, and myself.
It is about creative editing. It is about mixing, mastering, noise reduction. It is about producing content that is aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, it's audibly pleasing, not aesthetically. There's no aesthetic involved. You're thinking of the wrong fucking sense, you idiot.
Forensic audio is about preserving evidence. The goal is not to make something sound better. It is about preserving the integrity of the audio.
No, it isn't. I mean, it's certainly an important part, right? Locating and preserving different kinds of audio evidence, but you will be routinely asked to perform the exact same techniques that she did to clean up audio, dumb
Bingo.
fuck. Wouldn't do anybody a whole lot of good if you get a phone full of static and you just hand it right back like, yeah, no, sorry, we have to preserve the integrity of this evidence. Now, I can certainly clean it up so it can actually be used as evidence in prosecution or defense, but can't do that. Got to maintain the integrity. No, you just have to make sure you are tracking every last thing you do to that audio so it will stand up as admissible evidence. Again, that's the only real difference. Exact same discipline.
Use methodologies that can maintain and keep courtroom integrity for a criminal investigation. They're not the same thing. Music producers routinely alter audio.
As do forensic audio engineers every fucking day. The second you touch that audio, clip it up so it can be used in different portions of a defense or a prosecution, you are editing that audio. And again, you will be asked to edit it directly using the same techniques that creator did. Plus, she explained everything she did up top, which is why I immediately knew, oh yeah, she knows what the fuck she's doing. That's essentially what you do in terms of forensic audio. You just have to be able to explain everything you did and why you did it, and that it didn't lead to an artifact that wasn't originally present in the audio itself.
You know he's going on the list, right? This is ridiculous, man.
And again, she's not in a criminal trial. This is public audio.
That's why it requires specialized training, specialized software, and additional certifications specifically meant for forensic analysis.
Again, those certs are mostly around chain of custody, and there's no super secret software they're using that no one else has access to. They will use software that's basically like a syslog that just tracks what you're doing to audio while they use some high-end notch filters and shit. It's just building on things engineers already know how to do. You can teach anybody with a bachelor's how to do forensic audio in 6 to 8 weeks.
I want to bring this up. If you truly believed that you had discovered something nefarious,
Yes.
why didn't you immediately take it to law enforcement?
You mean the same authorities insisting that nothing nefarious happened? Again, they have the audio themselves. You don't think they're doing some kind of forensic investigation themselves? And guess what? It's gonna sound the exact same. Yeah, because those are the techniques you use in forensic investigation. You chuckle fucks are way too comfortable commenting on other people's accreditations with your little associates, calling yourself a fucking journalist.
Now we're trying to walk.
he just ate her up. Shout out to him. He ate her up. And I'm gonna say I concur. These little techniques that they're pulling out their hats, the intimidation tactics, the fear and threats of lawsuits and things like that, it's not gonna work this time. It's not gonna work. It's just not. Sue us. Sue. I don't give a. I want to cuss so bad. But anyway, welcome Roguish in the building. Thank you so much for being here, my brother. Hey, Stella Pooh, thank you for being here. Let's take some comments real quick before we get to our next clip. I just think that what they're trying to do is so blatant and in our face, and it's really like, yes, do it behind a computer. You actually won't do it in our face, but yeah, say what you gotta say. Do what you want to do behind the computer. You're just big tough person. It's just ridiculous, guys. Behind the computer, cyber thugs, keyboard warriors. That's what they are. Not gonna do anything to nobody's face whatsoever. William says, show no agreement to the devil. And let me see. Tiana says that's what she wants, a phone full of static. Absolutely. They didn't want to be heard. They actually didn't realize the phone was being recorded. They thought that Wyatt was on hold when he called Cito. They didn't realize that the phone started to record immediately. And so, like the man just said, the same techniques that Janetta Brantley performed to clean up the audio, they are doing it as well. Now, would they be honest about it? Still remains to be seen. But I'm praying that Mississippi do the right thing this time. All right. Rogan says, why didn't she just run the same experiment? She don't know she don't know how to do that. Okay. She says this lady compared herself and what she does at church. She says, I'm a worship leader at church. And so was I was a minister of music. But I can't do what she did. There's no comparison. A worship leader is not an audio engineer. Are you kidding me? Somebody says Becky looks like a feeble-minded clown using her ass-backwards school smarts to justify the attempt to negate real facts from real professionals. My goodness, where do they do that? On Facebook, on Twitter, or whatever you call it, on YouTube, and wherever they are. They everywhere. These trolls are literally everywhere. So now I would like to get into an interview that the boy's attorneys he did with Kumo. His last name Latino. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The one that's working with Bart's family to sue people, even though Bart's name is not on Sarah J. Fields' Twitter or X status. Weird, guys. Pay attention. That's weird. Where was Bart's name? You know, Bart gave up 20 names. He might be cooperating. Shout out to Bart if he's cooperating. Somebody needs to come forward and tell the truth. So I'm hoping we're rooting for you, Bart. We rooting for you. You gave up 20 names and your name is not on the list. We watching. All right. Let's get into this other interview. And Brother Rogue, if you want to come on the panel, you are more than welcome. And anybody else that wants to come on the panel that has some sense or has some input that they want to offer, hey, today is open panel night. Join in the conversation. All right, here we are. And let me hit play. I don't even know if I can listen to this whole interview.
Bart Edmiston Jr. You've heard that name if you're following the Nolan Wells investigation. The question is, why did you hear it? Did you hear that he was on the boat, the same boat that Nolan was on? Did you hear that he was part of that Cito call that's out there now. Did you hear that he was part of a conversation that seemed very troubling when you match it to the transcript about what was happening to Nolan Wells maybe on that boat? Because it seems to be going on contemporaneously at the same time as the CETO call. I'm Chris Cuomo. Welcome to Cuomo Crime Time, where we will give you the best insight into Bart's role as recognized by him through his counsel, Russell Latino, who will join us in a moment. But let me set the table. Bart Edmiston has gotten a lot of attention on social media. People believe that he has something to answer for. Did he know the young woman that Nolan Wells may have been with that kept him from going home with his buddies? People don't seem to know her. She wasn't really part of the group, but was she known to Bart Edmiston? Is that why he may have been involved in what happened to Nolan Wells? These are vexing questions, serious allegations. My suggestion to you is, after you watch the upcoming interview, I think you will feel very differently about Bart Edmiston. Why? Because I do. That's why.
We'll see.
And at this point, it is safe to say I know as much or more than most people covering this investigation. And if you listen long enough, you will hear what I'm hearing about the official autopsy into Nolan Wells and what it is consistent with, what it is suggestive of. I'll tell you this as a spoiler. It is not definitive. I do not know what happened to Nolan Wells. And do the authorities? Maybe. Maybe they do. Then why aren't they saying? We will discuss that. There's good reason, maybe bad reason, depending on your opinion. But what happened to Nolan Wells demands something it is not getting enough of.
Transparency.
Integrity of time.
What?
Do you want the right answers?
I do.
The answer has to be yes. Otherwise, GTFO. Okay? But if you want the right answers, you cannot rush accuracy. You lose accuracy as you increase pressure of time.
Let me just say this. To Kumo. History, our history, does not prove that extended period of time improves accuracy. Our history proves that extended period of time proves appears cover up. Time to get their story together. Time to pick and choose evidence on what they want to present to the grand jury and what they do not want to present to the grand jury. So we can agree to disagree on that part right there. But let's get on with the interview. I want to hear what everybody has to say. Latino. And I want to hear your thoughts on the autopsy or your inside information. But don't try to think for Black people because you're not Black. And your experience has never been our experience. Transparency is what we've been calling for. And just because we're calling for transparency doesn't mean that we're rushing something. Because they know how he died already. The how. They know the how. Maybe not the why yet, but the how. Thanks.
Do they know more than they are telling you? Absolutely. Are they not telling you for bad reason? Not in my estimation. Do I want to know more than I know? Of course. Of course.
Do you really?
But that's a fundamental tension. Okay? Due process demands the integrity of the process. I love leaks. I love accurate leaks. Why? Because I want to know more. And I do think it helps me as a watchdog on the system. But presenting to a grand jury, it is a secretive proceeding. It is. Just look it up. And I understand now that this prosecutor in Mississippi does it a little differently than some others do. Why? Well, they don't go to the grand jury with everything. And this prosecutor is more inclusive. So you can't read into it going to the grand jury as if it is suggestive that she believes there may have been a crime. I don't think that that's a fair assumption. We'll explain why in this interview. But I do think at the end of the day, there are real questions about how a young, strong college athlete just died and nobody saw anything, nobody knows anything. That strains credulity. It would shock the conscience. Why? Doesn't make sense. I mean, anybody who's paying attention knows it wasn't 4 people go out, 3 men come back, or 5 go out, 4 come back, whatever the math was. And just happens to be the odd man out, the black guy who doesn't come back. This is not as simple as that. There were hundreds of people where they went. Somebody saw something. Somebody may have seen everything. And the investigators may well know who that person is. But is it Bart Edmiston? Was Bart on that boat helping or hurting?
Damn it,
how
Bart.
do we know?
Don't know.
Did Bart know the young lady that may have been with Nolan Wells? Was he jealous? Those pictures you've seen, are they accurate? Are they fair? That audio you've heard, is there a basis? What does Bart Edmiston say about that audio? What does he say? Now you will know. Here is his counsel, Russell Latino, who is representing Bart Edmiston Jr., 21 years old, knew Nolan Wells, was part of that group of boats and friends that went from the coast of Mississippi out to Horn Island together. That is all true. He knew Nolan Wells. He was part of that group. But which part and what happened? Here's what we know. Counsel, thank you for joining us once again. And just to be clear with the audience, Russ Latino, real last name, Italian, sounds Latino. I thought it was a marketing ploy. He says no, but it works a lot of different ways. Counsel, thank you for taking the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. All it literally means is somebody that speaks Latin, which, as you well know, originated in Rome. So it's a commoner's last name. Also happens to be the word associated with an entire ethnic group. So it's confusing.
It works a lot of different ways. Let's leave it as that. It's adaptable. So before we go broad, let's go narrow. Is there anything new in terms of your client and your pursuits?
No, I mean, look, we're monitoring the things that are being said across social media. I think in the next week, there'll be additional activity around some of the accounts that have sort of driven some of the most, what we believe are egregious narratives around my client. I think the reality is that the internet is fickle. And so at some level, as other people insert themselves or other names come out, the internet has a way of rotating between people. And they're assigning different people culpability based on the day.
So, to review, your client was there that day, was not an intimate, was not part of the group that has been framed as being with, framed meaning pictured with Nolan Wells. He was on the boat. He was heard. He was witnessed assisting his buddies who had a problem with water getting into their boat. They called sea tow during that call. There is now a version of the call that seems to depict a chaotic scene happening at the same time as the caller's calm kind of pro forma phone call with sea tow, which is an assistance service for boaters, about him taking on water. Your client wound up fixing that problem for them. But first, what has been alleged by these accounts that you are monitoring about the involvement of your client?
Yeah, so let me back up and just clarify when we say the boat, that could be confusing to some people. I mean, there were hundreds of boats that were out near Horn Island that day, hundreds of people that were out on Horn Island that day celebrating the 4th of July. It's a big holiday weekend. Within a sort of confederacy of friends, there were 3 boats that went out. One of them was piloted by my client, who piloted the boat out and then back to his house. At no point was Nolan Wells, the young man who tragically lost his life, on my client's boat. Around 4:30 that afternoon, one of the boats experienced some problems with its bilge pump and started taking on water. One of the individuals on that boat called my client and asked for help. He proceeded to give help, in part by getting on the transom of the boat and helping to remove the plug at the back of the transom of that boat. For people that don't boat, that may not make, that may not be something they understand, but literally they were just opening up a hole so water would drain out, is the short way of saying this. And then my client got back on the boat that he was piloting and towed the other vessel for a short distance, allowing that water to run off.
You guys know I'm always looking for simple things that can help me stay on top of my game, especially when it comes to hydration. And this is a good one. LTV. It's not just another electrolyte powder. LTV combines clinical dose marine milk with deep liver. LTV, do your intentional, find it with how much water. Check it out.com. Irrelevant to the events, because that's what a podcast. drinkltv.com/Cuomo. Let's go there, because that's what a podcast is about, is depth. This is completely irrelevant to the events surrounding Nolan Wells, except for this. If Brad, in quotes, or Bart, in quotes, or Billy, in quotes, because your client is referred to by multiple different names, not by you, not by him, but by people on the internet. Sure. If he was not killing Nolan Wells, what else was he doing? This is what we understand. Why would you pull the plug out of a boat? Wouldn't that make it sink? No, depends on the configuration of the hull and the placement of the plug, because sometimes, especially with smaller boats, if they're taking on water, let's say from 20 people drinking beers sitting on the back of it at a party, it can overwhelm a bilge pump that is old, not properly maintained, or has a float switch that gets stuck. And any of those things can happen and you are in a bad position. However, if you know what you're doing, you can pull the plug and then drag the boat so that it goes fast enough that it rises above the level of where the hole is. So instead of allowing water to come in, it allows water to drain out. And then you put the plug back in nice and quick, and you don't have water in the boat anymore, but you do have to address the bilge pump, which you do at a later time. That is an operation that a lot of boaters know, a lot of boaters can do, and that is the involvement that you are saying, counsel, your client had on that boat as it was leaving.
Yeah, that's correct. And the end result.
Are you impressed that I nailed it, by the way? Are you impressed that
I
nailed
want to know
it?
who you've been talking to. Are you a boater?
I am a Coast Guard captain, certified, and I have been talking to all of these different people and families and people close to the investigation. And a lot of this is new vocabulary, new vernacular. A lot of people see this story very one-dimensional. Mississippi, racist, one black kid, a lot of white kids, the system protecting, and none of this boating stuff makes sense. The boat wasn't sinking. That's a lie to cover a murder. I understand boating differently. I understand investigating differently. I know the operation you're talking about. It is absolutely plausible that this is what was going on. And there are multiple witnesses who say this is exactly what they witnessed going on.
And let's be very clear about the multiple witnesses, because I think there have been some narratives set based on pictures that are not accurate. So very early on, the narrative that was set was we had one picture with Nolan and 3 friends that are white on the back of a boat. And I think a lot of people developed the thought, okay, 4 friends went out on a boat together.
3 came back.
Only 3 came back, and they went to some desolate place. The reality is they went to a place with hundreds of people. There were way more than 4 friends. It was a mixed race group. So it wasn't just that Nolan was the only black friend in the group.
Which explains some of the pictures out there of mostly white party goers with a black guy, and they just assume if it's a black guy, it must be Nolan. He was the only one. The pictures are not accurate. They're not even, some of them are not even from that day. And you're saying that your client says Nolan was not the only black guy.
Well, I don't know that my client is saying that. I think a lot of witnesses are saying that. I think Trayston Shepard, who is black, has said that he was out there. I think Javon Williams, who is black, has said that he was out there as part of that group. And look, I want to be very careful not to name people who haven't already inserted themselves by talking to media, because this is a witch hunt. I mean, at this point, any name that comes out, people assume that person is a new culpable suspect. But both of those gentlemen have chosen to talk about what happened while they were out there, and to make the point that Nolan was in fact not the only black friend in that group.
Understood.
I say all that to say that there have been narratives set throughout this discussion that are false narratives and that have allowed people to develop a perception of what Horn Island would have looked like or what Nolan would have experienced, but is in no way accurate.
Understood. Why you're proffering that, and consistent with what I understand of the investigation. Now, have to say, frustrating. The unknown is very powerful as a narrative device, especially within the true crime space, maybe uniquely so. The investigators, since the initial, what I say, in my opinion, was the wrong way to come out of the box in this situation, after that, they have said almost nothing because it's all being presented to a grand jury. That level of secrecy is rare, but is righteous. That's how it should be.
So basically, this interview is an attempt, a media attempt, just like Bart's coach came out a couple of days ago and made a statement to save or salvage Bart's NFL potential career. This is what I'm hearing. He's trying to explain away or minimize Bart's alleged involvement in this situation with Nolan Wells. That's what I'm hearing. Let's keep going.
Until the grand jury figures out whether it's going to hand up an indictment or not. And then the investigators have more of a clear path, as do anybody who wants a FOIA request or to get more information. So that is a semi-secretive proceeding. The fact that nothing's coming out is not necessarily suspicious. The early indication, I think, triggered a lot of people. I think rightly so, especially Nolan Wells' family. But that's my opinion. I put it to the side. Germane to your case or your concern, that conversation from the sweetened audio where there's one voice calling Cito, I have an account, we've got a little problem, kid doesn't sound...
What the hell does sweetened audio mean? This is crazy.
Sound panicked, is very pro forma, saying he has an account because they charge you different things if you have an account or if you don't. And then there is a background conversation which sounds terrible. Sounds like there's blaming and about Nolan waking up, and Nolan may well be there by the nature of this conversation.
Cito Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the work coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
What is your position on the veracity of that sweetened audio?
So let me address a few things that you said there, and then I certainly will address the audio. There were more than 20 people between those two boats that witnessed what happened between those two boats that were on those vessels. There are, in fact, pictures of who was on those vessels and video of who was on those vessels. There were also a lot of people that were in the water. Like when we're talking about the aid that my client provided to the distressed vessel, it wasn't way out in the water. It literally was while they were still anchored next to Horn Island. So
understood.
Dozens of people that saw what happened there.
Understood, which makes sense because an experienced boater, which these kids are, they go to the island all the time, they fish all the time, they're around boats. You don't take off if you're taking on water. You try to figure out what it is and what to do about it before you leave. I mean, I've been in exactly that position. It makes sense that it would have happened while they were still stationed.
So, and so let's also, as we talk about the audio, acknowledge what you said about why investigations stay quiet the way that they do. Because I actually think the audio is a great example of why investigations stay quiet. That audio gets released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. A version of it, it's not clear that was the original audio. And then people take it and try and pick it apart. So you have mentioned enhanced audio and different things that people have heard. It's worth noting that there's been more than one source of quote unquote enhanced audio, that audio appears in different lengths, that different forensic experts have said that there are quote unquote artifacts that were added to the enhanced audio, that music was removed from the enhanced audio. And so all of those things should create a degree of skepticism. The other thing that I would say is that if you listen to even the enhanced audio, and News Nation had a guy on recently, Robert Freed, who talked about this, who is an audio expert. You know, if you listen to it without the transcript that some people have put on top of it, even the enhanced audio is garbled mess. And so what I would say is, you probably are aware of this. There's all sorts of scientific research on this about the way the human brain processes and offers preference to certain types of input. There's a visual input preference over an auditory input preference. There was a famous experiment done around this, Chris, where two groups of people were put into separate rooms with a noise that didn't say anything. And they were told, one group was said that the noise was the word green needle, or words green needle, and the other was told.
I don't know about you guys, but even in the unenhanced audio, I heard the same things. So I am not sure on why they are trying to gaslight America or the world in believing that we didn't hear what we heard. Let's keep going. Crazy word.
That it was the word brainstorm. And they got put back together, and they both swore vehemently that they had heard either green needle or brainstorm because they had that visual cue. So I think there's a reason that reputable outlets have chosen not to run enhanced audio, because if you're a reputable outlet, you try to figure out who put this together. Did they start with the original so that we know it wasn't corrupted from the beginning? Is there evidence of corruption that we can detect? Are the links the same? Does that person have bias? These are the questions you'd want to know before you put something in front of people with a written transcript that tells them what they should be hearing, and then allow it to mislead people. We put zero stock in enhanced audio, quote unquote, enhanced audio. And I think that there's a reason that reputable outlets, and candidly, a lot of reputable audio experts, are saying that people shouldn't either.
High prices are here to stay. Gas, groceries, insurance. It's going to take time. And do that. Low mortgage interest to fix. Only make American. How? You owe it to you. I can tell you that. And there's no pressure. Cost you nothing. Two more to 80, 20, 26 Cuomo. I've seen multiple versions. The one that is getting the most traction is a black female who seems to be well-versed in audio editing. And she goes into great detail of what
Why does she have to be a black female? Just say her name, Janetta Brantley. These people.
She did. And then it has this background conversation. I have used sweetened audio or audio sweeteners, not just for simple editing purposes here, because obviously my voice is near perfect, but in making things clearer in audio. For example, there is an infamous / famous recording of one-time Trump attorney / bagman / confidant Michael Cohen having a conversation with then citizen Donald Trump about certain payments to certain women. And we used audio sweetening to bring out the voices. It can be done. It can be done forensically. It can be done well. Here is the good news. It doesn't matter about anything that I'm saying, or frankly, counsel is saying up until this point. Does your client say he was part of a conversation on that boat about what was done to Nolan Wells and what kind of situation Nolan Wells was in?
No, I mean, we have been vehement that Nolan Wells was never on my client's boat, that my client never saw Nolan Wells on anybody else's boat, that my client has no idea the circumstances that led to Nolan Wells' death, that he did not cause or contribute to the circumstances that led to Nolan Wells' death. And look, the family has also been very clear that they understand the tremendous grief that Nolan Wells' parents are experiencing, that the Ocean Springs community is experiencing, candidly, that his friends are experiencing. and they understand the demand for answers. They understand why this process has to be done thoroughly, why investigators have to turn over every rock. And to that end, I would just tell you that certainly in the case of my client, and certainly in the case of some of these other young men, based on conversations that I've had, they cooperated fully with authorities from the very beginning of this process. I think the only thing that my client and others have asked for is not to arrive at a verdict in a way that is pre-drawn, but instead to wait on facts. And
they have not cooperated. They lawyered up, and then they went on Officer Tatum's podcast with a bunch of alleged lies. So that is not cooperation, sir. That is not cooperation. And then they went on a grift and opened up ghost send accounts. And now they have this fake, I don't know who she is, but her last name is Fields, out here promoting a ghost send account and threatening every content creator out here, lawsuits. So no, sir, that's not cooperation. Stop it.
Evidence before you convict someone in a court of public opinion, because the consequence of that is that you're ruining people's reputations. The consequence of that is that you're subjecting people to actual physical threats and violence. And that's not the way that our system should work.
Has it slowed down? How is your client handling it?
I would tell you that, he's a 21-year-old, kid's the wrong word, because I know that's a grown man, but you can remember being 21.
He is a physically grown man. He is not an emotionally or cognitively grown man. I've got one at home. In fact, I've got two at home, one male, one female in that age range. I see them as children within the eyes of the law, obviously adults.
Right. And I'm not suggesting that's not true, but I am suggesting that you and I both remember what it was like to be 21. And this is devastating. Now, I will say to his credit, I think this would be devastating to somebody that's 45 or 60. To have these kind of accusations being bandied about without evidence. To his credit, he is an incredibly mature, candidly wise young man.
Well, this kind of situation makes you grow up fast. But just for the benefit of the audience, as a simple colloquy, you just stated there were multiple witnesses to attest to this one way or the other. Your client was not on a boat with Nolan Wells. He knew Nolan Wells. He was not with him. When your client got on the boat to help, Nolan Wells was not there. True?
That's correct.
Your client was not present when anything happened to Nolan Wells. Is that true?
Yes.
Your client was never part of a conversation where other people were panicked about what had happened to Nolan Wells.
That's correct.
And no one saw your client with Nolan Wells while the boat was leaving.
Yeah, I mean, certainly not to my knowledge. I can tell you that he wasn't with him. Well,
So then it doesn't really matter what the sweetened audio says unless there was another guy with the same name as your client who was on that boat at a different time. Other than that, because the CTO call is happening while he's there. So unless it's patched together from different moments, your suggestion is it cannot be accurate.
Yeah, I will just say again that my client had nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells, has no knowledge of the circumstances of Nolan's death. And it was...
You guys heard right? You heard the deflection. I'm just going to say that my client had nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells. That's all I'm going to say. My client had nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells. Let's keep going.
There's no way involved. Yeah, I mean, certainly not to my knowledge. I can tell you that he wasn't with him. Well,
So then it doesn't really matter what the sweetened audio says unless there was another guy with the same name as your client who was on that boat at a different time. Other than that, because the CTO call is happening while he's there. So unless it's patched together from different moments, your suggestion is it cannot be accurate.
Watch this.
Yeah, I will just say again.
You got the stuttering. I would just say that. Just listen very closely to the wordplay.
and that my client had nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells, has no knowledge of the circumstances of Nolan's death, and it was no way involved in covering up or concealing any information that would be.
So his sole purpose is to protect Bart. His sole purpose is to get out in front of this, to preserve Bart's image and his reputation. His sole purpose is not the other boys. He's speaking solely just on Bart. His mission and his assignment is save Bart's NFL, get in an NFL career, potentially, allegedly. Get out in front of this. Tell Bart's story. So, and then Bart came and gave 20 names. Could I be wrong? Could he be cooperating? Let's keep going. Something's going on here. Let's go.
Relevant to investigators figuring out what happened to Nolan.
Have the investigators come back to your client?
He's talked to the investigators. I'm not sure what you mean by come back to him.
Like, have they had follow-up questions for him on more than one occasion after they asked for his initial statement and cooperation?
Yeah, I think he talked to different sets of investigators. And I want to be very careful that I don't insert my own speculation.
Mm-hmm.
But my appreciation is that he's talked to different sets of investigators. You know, as an example, the DMR form that shows that he was identified as one of the two.
Guys, let's think about it, though. We got to think deeper than that. I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, allegedly, Bart may be cooperating. Remember? Let's go back and look at this real quick. I'm going to keep the video going. Don't get me. We're going to get right back into it. And then we're going to talk about a different case here. So don't go nowhere. But look at this. You remember how Sarah J. Fields was going hard for this attorney, and she's working with this attorney, and he's suing people? Bart's name is not on this list. On the status that she posted 6 hours ago, calling for screenshots, videos, and posts related to the Nolan Wells case. Second paragraph down says, hold on. Well, let's start at the first. Just going to read the first two. I'm sure by now, many of you know that I'm working directly with the attorneys representing the boys who have been threatened and defamed in connection with the Nolan Wells case. She was going hard for this attorney, Latino. She was going hard. He was the only one that was threatening to sue. You guys remember that? Second paragraph. We have now opened a Dropbox for anyone who has screenshots, videos, post, or other documentation involving Warren, Jax, Morgan. Bart no longer exists. Bart no longer exists on her list. What happened? Read the room. Something's going on. What happened? Let's keep going.
Owners, which has been misinterpreted by some people. He let DMR officers onto the boat to take the GPS and all of that. Those would be investigators that would be separate from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office.
Mm. Does your client remember the last time he saw Nolan Wells at the event? Obviously, he knew he was part of the group, even though he wasn't with him specifically, because it was multiple people, multiple boats. Does he remember the last time he saw him there?
Yeah, what I would say on that is he has told me that he did see Nolan that day, but that they really didn't interact that day. One of the things to appreciate here is that my client is 21 years old. He did play football with Nolan Wells in high school, but he was 3 years older than Nolan. And so certainly my client would consider Nolan a friend, but it wasn't the same sort of level of relationship. They didn't go out there together that day.
Understood. There's also a suggestion that your client knew the woman being called Katie, who may have been with Nolan Wells, may have been his reason that he didn't want to go home with the buddies who brought him.
Yeah, and so there have been a number of just purely made up things, and this is one of the more egregious purely made up things. What happened in this instance, Chris, is that somebody literally went and pulled a picture of my client with a young lady that was several years old and then misidentified the young lady as someone named Katie, who, according to other witnesses, Nolan was speaking to that day.
Mhm.
The problem with this level of speculation, which has gone on to, essentially that my client had a relationship with this person named Katie, and it created jealousy that Nolan was speaking to her, and that is evidence of motive. The problem with that line of reasoning
Let me
is
correct
that the person in the
misinformation that's being
photograph.
spread in my comment section. Autopsy did not come back no foul play. The independent autopsy came back as undetermined pending additional investigation. And we don't know what the damn first autopsy came back as. So why are you lying in the comment section? Somebody get him out of here just for lying. Just for lying. Stop.
Upon which the entire theory is based is not, in fact, someone named Katie. And let me say this, because some news organizations have covered this point as if it's a he said, she said debate. Journalists are capable of actually figuring out who is in the photograph. There are people that they went to high school with who can tell you who's in the photograph. The young lady's mother can tell you who's in the photograph. The young lady can tell you who's in the photograph. We've chosen not to use her name because we don't want her to face the same ridiculous level of scrutiny and craziness that's going on the internet. But this is not a he said, she said. Like, this is a verifiable fact that the person in the photograph that's been used to create this crazy theory is not someone named Katie.
Right.
And it's also a fact that Bart had never met this person named Katie, had no relationship with this person named Katie. It's just literally people pulling things out of thin air.
That's the nature of clickbait. Sometimes it's well-intentioned. Sometimes it's curiosity. Sometimes it's cynicism. Most of the time, it's about clickbait for profit. And that's what works. That's what gets you the views. And you do not have the same kind of liability that I do at News Nation, or I do as a known entity, as a lot of these other people. There's not a lot of pockets to tap. There aren't corporations attached. And to that end, what we're seeing with you, Mr. Latino, is kind of the new normal, which is I'm going to hire an attorney if I'm Bart or his parents, and I'm going to go after the people who are going after me, put them on notice to cease and desist their disparaging and defamatory comments. And if they don't, I will sue them for the same. That has been your approach. Has it changed the disposition? I know one account responded by saying basically, bring it on, as if
Kimberly.
they were welcoming of that. What is your assessment of the situation and in response to that?
Yeah, I would say that ultimately issues like this aren't going to get decided on Facebook, but in a court. I would say that the same individual did actually take down all of the posts related to my client.
And I can confirm.
While simultaneously inviting us to bring it on. I would also, not that it's my job to give counsel to people who may be on the other side of us, but, those posts are going to be evidence. The posts in which people talk about getting rich off of the fact that they're making defamatory comments end up as evidence. And I would suggest that it's evidence that federal judges probably won't look too kindly upon.
Yeah. The impact on Bart, his life, how serious have the threats been? I know that there was a suggestion that his accurate address had been put out there. What have been the effects of the notoriety?
Yeah, and so the answer is that his address was put out there. Pictures of his home were put out there. Land plats showing where to find the property relative to other property were put out there. That's doxing. That's all of some of these platforms, terms of service, but candidly, some of these platforms are slow to act on those things. Look, we believe the consequence of that and some of the things that have been put out there are the credible death threats that have been received both by my client and his family. I don't want to sensationalize those things because candidly, I don't want to invite other sickos into the fold, but they're real. and law enforcement has treated them as being real, up to and including an arrest by the FBI on Friday.
And look, it is not a secret. The account, well, there are multiple accounts, but one of them is known as Kimbra Lee. And she has said that she stands by everything she says, but the posts and the content on that page has changed the last time I checked it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there have been things removed. There's also been additional qualifications, I think, in the way that it's getting presented. We know who that person is. That is a pseudonym, but we know who that person is.
It is often a pseudonym.
Yeah.
It is often that way. Not a lot of people want to own what they put out online.
So let me say this on there are like three levels of analysis here, right? To us at least. There's who are the defamers that are just making up things wholesale, right? And then there's a more sophisticated layer of people that we think send signals, who maybe try to skirt defamation, but actively send signals that some of these folks who are a little bit off hinge pick up on and run with. And then I think there's a third level, and whether this is moral culpability or legal culpability, we'll find out maybe. But the platforms that allow for the proliferation of very sensational conduct, defamatory statements, but candidly that have a design that not only allow for that, but that push that and that create both a profit motive for the platforms, but candidly a profit motive for the people who are creating that content.
Yep. I think, it's all relevant. And of course, the shame is that this on certain levels doesn't make sense at this point, but that's because of all the layers that have been put on top of the unknown, in my assessment. Now, I am hearing from sources that I will protect close to the investigation, that the investigators do have more information from their autopsy, not the autopsy, the secondary one that was done by the family and their agents and representatives, which was, of course, going to be less conclusive, less helpful, frankly, than the initial one, because certain things were removed and kept for later investigation, which is very normal. The suggestion that they took things and hid them so the family couldn't find things out, I see no basis for that. And certainly autopsies regularly collect tissue samples and other parts of the body for examination. You have also heard that they know things about the first autopsy.
Yeah, so what I've tried to do is not to increase or worsen a speculative environment. There are things that I know that I think the average person doesn't know.
I think there are things that I know that the average person doesn't know that are not points of speculation. One, that they found now, and again, this could cut three different ways. They found evidence of water in tissue and cavities consistent with drowning. However, the body was also floating in the water and could have collected water. You could shoot me, I fall in the water, I could have water become the equivalent of ingested. Not that often, but it happens. In the stomach, a little bit, depends on the condition of the epiglottis. The lungs, more common because there are more entryways that can get to it. The second is, so there was water in there and he was drowned, but he had help drowning. And that the third possibility is that there was water there, but it is not conclusive. I am being told it is consistent with drowning. What that means investigatively is still open to interpretation. You've heard the same.
Yeah, so let me just say this briefly, that it's important to recall that even in the
at a potential Klansman rally
that has been made public, that there were no signs of defensive wounds noted by the pathologist.
Mm-hmm.
There were no contusions noted by the pathologist. There were no lacerations noted by the pathologist. There was no injury to bone noted by the pathologist. And so I just want to say that because I understand you're offering a hypothetical by saying you could be shot and then put in water. I want to be very clear that even the independent autopsy did not have any indications.
There is no suggestion of gross injury. I thank you for the clarification. I do not mean to suggest otherwise. I'm saying that what I have been told, that there is evidence consistent with drowning, doesn't mean that he drowned necessarily, or that the drowning was the cause of death, or the water in there was the cause of death. I'm just being open-minded.
All over the place.
That is the most practical way to be. Subject
They are
to,
all over the place.
I have not seen the report of the first autopsy. The second autopsy, they did find a red spot on the back of the skull, as people should be aware. What is that? It could be several different things. It could be friction. It could be rubbing. Blunt force, probably not, according to the notes as reported on that second autopsy. Could have been from sitting on itself and lividity, the pooling of fluid, blood, etc.
Why he looking like that?
Subject to decay and decomposition.
You do not want to have this conversation.
He actually, Kumo looks extremely red, and the guy on
You don't
the
want
right.
to talk about this shit now. I don't want to have the conversation.
No, and I don't know why
This
he's
is
talking
hilarious to
about.
watch.
I don't know why he's even talking about the autopsy with this guy.
Well, he's trying not to sweat. The thing is, they don't like talking about this case. It's bad no matter how you look at it.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Let's keep going. Almost done.
How you doing, sister? Respect.
I am doing good. Everybody, welcome our good brother Rogus to the stage. All right. Listen, Facebook done already restricted by live talking about nobody over 18 is not allowed to view this video because of content. They've been messing with me. They demonetized my other video, my last live as well. Listen, I didn't think you could be 18 over 18 on Facebook. So I mean, what are you restricting? I thought you had to be 18. But you know, I don't sweat it. They just messing with somebody. But still not. I'm not gonna shut up.
Interesting.
Let's keep going.
To you a little bit more of a qualified analysis in the second autopsy, that they didn't see as much tissue availability and be able to analyze it because it had decomposed both before the first autopsy and since the first autopsy, and things had been done to the body in the first autopsy, which made it harder for the second one. That is my understanding of it. Also, the headline information, not surprising to me, is that he was there drinking.
His expression ain't changed.
He was known to enjoy drinking, and that's what was going on at Horn Island. You can feel any way you want about it, but it is, as a matter of fact, what the situation was about. So the toxicology
he makes to the
early on
magistrate?
shows a significant level of blood alcohol, the BAC level, as they call it in the body. You have also heard that. Am I correct, counsel?
I'm going to wait till the pathologist puts out the report, and I'm going to wait till the district attorney puts out the evidence that they have. What I will say,
but safe to say is you cannot contradict me at this point.
What I will say is that I think when all of the evidence is presented, it will be overwhelming, and that it will be overwhelmingly clear from witnesses, forensic evidence, pictures, videos, that what my client has said is true. And so,
what the fuck did he say?
You know, what I don't want to do, Chris, and I understand that in some ways you're trying to present things that could be exonerating. I don't want to be guilty of the same thing that I'm accusing other people.
I totally get it. You are trying to not be what you oppose, and you're respecting the process. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, I'm having it both ways. This is what I've heard. I can advance what information is out there, but I am, unlike many people in this space, very wary of context. Knowing that there is water in cavities in the body, I get what it's suggestive of. I get that it's consistent. I've seen this many, many, many times. It does not let me know conclusively what led to the water being in the body. That's what I'm saying. Similarly, the back the blood alcohol content. Again, I could be drunk as a skunk and you could drown me. So now I have a very high blood level of alcohol, but I also
and your throat is
drown
injured
from being drunk. So you got to stay open.
in the process.
Very rarely
which
is
doesn't
one
make
piece
sense.
of information dispositive of an analysis. And I believe that's where we are. And I get that they don't want more information to come out until they're ready to do it and to present it the way they want to. And I cannot.
Are they trying to say this 18-year-old black boy was an alcoholic?
Counsel, which is, again,
that is exactly how they're trying to.
Are they trying to say that? Are white people trying to say that a 18-year-old black boy hanging around rich white people was known to be, the alcoholic of them on boats? Rich white people own boats.
They are actually trying to steer the narrative to make
this is hilarious.
Nolan out of the bad guy, as long with his parents out of the bad guy. This is what they do to us all the time. It does not surprise me, not at all.
It's just so blatant this time though, because there's no wondering who was the victim in this process. Let's say that it was something that you couldn't tell who the victim actually was. Everybody know who the victim was, and now you can see the victim being victimized, the victim's family being victimized. And it's like, all right, y'all, they don't want to give up somebody. Just like that one Karen that was trying to discredit the sister professionalism. One, she didn't run the experiment, and two, she heard something on there. She might not agree with everything that she heard, but she heard at least one thing that told her, I need to make a response video.
I agree with you 1000%.
Yeah.
And basically, she just trolls us. That's it. She attacks everybody, and she trolls. That is how I look at that woman to be 1000%. She did the same thing with the Carmelo Anthony case. The same thing. I'm working with the Metcalfs closely. Oh my God, it was sickening to watch. Yes. And so let's just finish this up real quick before we move to the next part, which is about
outside the wheelhouse of your representation, but relevant to you as an officer of the court and as a citizen of the area. Coming out of the box hot, saying this is tragic, we have the body, we have no proof at this time of any foul play. There was no need to put that last part that way. They could have just said there was nothing obvious in our initial assessment of the body to explain what happened here. We are investigating. I think had they said it that way, this may not have escalated as quickly as it did.
So what I would say is I don't have the statement directly in front of me, but I think the statement was actually much closer to your version than the version that has been framed. My recollection is not that authorities ever came out and said there's just no foul play, point blank, the investigation.
No, they did not say it that way. You're right. They said
so
we don't have any evidence of foul play at this point.
But it's an ongoing investigation, right? And I think, that's actually not uncommon in the sense that, like, you're able to examine a body and see that there aren't signs of defensive wounds and things of that nature. I understand your point, which is people interpret it one way. It became a narrative as to, did these folks jump to a conclusion too fast? Well, what I would tell you is this, and I just want to reiterate. I think that people have every right to be skeptical. I think people have every right to have opinions about the quality of an investigation. I would say that a learned opinion would wait to see what the investigation actually uncovered. But people have the right to have those opinions. I think where it gets dangerous is when you presuppose a verdict, when you presuppose that certain people are culpable. So I don't fault anybody for asking hard questions.
Certain people say white. He isn't scared to say white. Go ahead.
That we're living in a society, Chris.
What'd you say?
He didn't say white. He said certain people. He did the people pause. There's certain, if everybody does it in some form or fashion, they have their pause of speaking upon white people pause. So the root word or the next word will be people, right? But then they'll say a context, knowing that they're alluding to white people, but they won't say white. So he said certain people say white. It's Mississippi. It was at a known Klansman ritual spot. You mean to tell me on July the 4th, 250, that don't sound like ritual to none of y'all? That don't sound like ritual to y'all?
It does. It does. It absolutely does sound like it. I've heard that narrative more than once, and it makes sense. It makes sense.
Mississippi?
Yep. Especially with their here with the history. Yep. I did hear that Horn Island was a place that rituals were performed. Also, it was America's 250th birthday.
Yeah.
Also, that the sand, the sand was haunted. Listen, it's the South. It probably was a lot of black bodies that ended up on that remote island, buried there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're gonna get into that as well. I just wanted to get through this so we can get to the next part, because I wanted to talk about the Dixie Mafia that is in Biloxia, Mississippi.
Nicely put.
That's where Nolan Well died or was unalived. So, all right, we're gonna wrap this up real quick and we'll move on. It was another young lady that also was found, unalived from a tree, hanging from a tree in Jackson, Mississippi.
Road of suicide.
Did they say that's what that is?
Yes.
They said that's what it was?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. Dr. Ritchie had a live on it today, and he spoke with the sister of the victim.
Right. I was gonna play that.
Yeah, inconclusive. Yeah, all right, yeah, my bad. Rock with it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that next, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Where it is much easier to let our ADHD or our attention deficit get the better of us because we feel entitled to answers. Like something gets us fired up as citizens, and we immediately feel entitled to answers. His family's entitled to answers. The people in the community are entitled to answers. There should be transparency, but there are a lot of people who view themselves as internet detectives, and their sort of short attention spans are so consuming that instead of waiting for facts, instead of waiting for evidence, instead of waiting for the investigation, they create their own theories, their own facts that are completely baseless. And I think that's dangerous. And candidly, it's not just dangerous
It's
to
with the facts that you
people
give.
like my client.
Wait, pause it.
It's dangerous to the
It's
process.
the same facts that they get. It's the same facts. Nobody's making nothing up. It's the same facts that they get.
And then at the same time, brother, they are forcing people to become internet detectives when they're not giving us information, when they're acting suspicious, when they're sealing autopsies, they're not being transparent, they're not giving
transparency
updates, they're hiding behind grand juries, and I don't give a crap that it's Mississippi's norm. In my opinion, Mississippi created that norm just for situations just like this, so they can hide behind a grand jury. All right,
Bart.
Yeah, damn it, Bart. Okay. All right, so I think I'm pretty much done with this interview. I just want to watch just a little bit more, just in case, because just give me a moment. What did he say about the autopsy?
In a case that there's actual foul play, whether it's this case or any other case. If you've got 100 theories that have been put out and then debunked, you arguably have created reasonable doubt if the investigators actually believe that there's something and someone to go after.
Are you guys not trying to convince America and the world right before our eyes that Nolan Wells was a alcoholic, druggie, like Officer Race Tatum said, cocaina? It's the same thing that you guys are doing, but you're doing it worse. You're blaming a victim.
Foul.
Very
Humanity. Humanity. Your humanity is flawed, bro. Lou.
Is dead.
Noise shot. Your humanity is flawed. You're supposed to have some empathy. This is human versal empathy that everybody's supposed to have for this particular situation. It just hit home to us because we had the longest history you know what I'm saying, contending with this. But if it would have happened to anyone else, this is, you know what I'm saying, it's the same thing. It looks shady, bro, Lou. You can't say that it don't look shady. At least the two dudes talking in their premise when they first started talking, they established that premise that it looks shady, and if people have questions about things that don't look like it's holding the right integrity, they're you know, you can afford them that. You just don't want to hear it.
They don't care.
That's sad.
It's very sad.
30 soul motherfucker.
Let's go.
I think that people need to think about this, not in terms of just the damage that they're causing to individuals who are innocent and are being wrongfully accused of stuff. I think they also need to think about it in terms of the damage to the process itself.
Yeah, I think that there's been an erosion over a long time. I think it's a balancing interest. For instance, I believe that other than some cases involving minors, I think there should be cameras in every courtroom. Why? Because I'm older than you and pretty much everybody watching this right now. But I remember when it was trust but verify. We are not there anymore. As a lawyer, as an officer of the court, as a longtime journalist, we're not there anymore. People don't trust me. They don't trust you. They don't trust these cops. They don't trust anything. And we understand why. Good reason, bad reason, no reason. We are where we are. Now I believe it's the reverse. You've got to have transparency. You've got to let people into not the investigative process, of course.
Well put.
But we have to err on the side of transparency.
Go ahead.
No. I said well put. I was going along with what Homer was saying.
Okay. I thought you said real quick. Okay.
No, well put.
And now you have a revenue model that is based on speculation. I have no problem with curiosity. I have no problem with people saying, oh, this Russ Latino, man, he answers everything like a lawyer. I don't know. I don't know that I trust him. That's okay. That's a fair opinion. Lawyers are a little cagey. You can feel that way about it. And I don't like that Bart isn't speaking for him. Okay. And I don't know that I believe I heard something. It's all good. It's all fair game. There is a line that no longer exists, which was, yeah, but you're saying something as a matter of fact that is really just an opinion and is based on something that isn't true, that you know isn't true. That is now a common consideration, and it is all over the place. I believe it's actually, believe this or not, Russ, this will be hard for you because this is your world. It's better here than it is in politics. It's better here. You've got a better shot at defending yourself here than you do in politics.
Yeah, and that may very well be true. And also, I could care less if somebody looks at me and says he's a lawyer, so I'm not going to trust him. People can say whatever they want. I care an awful lot about the process being legitimate. I care an awful lot about the things that I think have made this country great. And we talked about this on your program, but we're celebrating 250 years. And Chris, if I'm honest, I'm worried about whether or not we get another 250. Because a lot of the bedrock concepts that I think did make this country great, if you're talking about the rule of law, if you're talking about the presumption of innocence, if you're talking about due process, those things are being dramatically eroded by a culture that wants answers now, or that sees things like this, a tragedy like this, as a game or a form of entertainment or a way to make money. And I just worry about our ability to persist as a culture if adults like you, candidly, don't step up and say, there's got to be nuanced thought. These things have to be based on evidence. We can't jump to these kinds of conclusions and ruin people's lives. I've said this from the get-go before I ever was contacted by anybody about this case.
Well, hold on, pause it right there.
That look, if there was foul play, somebody needs to be held accountable.
It's been time for Black people to create our own cultural conclusions, our own cultural borders, our own cultural understandings. It's been time for us to do that. As long as we've dealt with this particular anti-Blackness within this system, we should be well versed and have much experience and already have a vocabulary, a model of engagement, navigation, all of that. We know how to read this. It is, if it's a FU from them, we know what that feels like. We've been here before. The thing is now you have everybody else here that sees how blatant it was. This is no different from the George Floyd situation. It's no different. The issue with that was that you don't kneel nobody out for almost 10 minutes. It's just a bad look. No matter if your knee is on their throat or whatever, if it's 5 of y'all and you kneel somebody out and they die, you're a gangster now.
While looking in the camera of the phone.
That's gangster. You don't get no more gangster than that. That's the most gangster shit that anybody could do. Anybody, let alone the police.
I agree 1,000%. And listen, while we're on the subject of Horn Island being a ritualistic place, I found this video. Let's just watch this together. No, it's not a well put together video, but he's going to break down some stuff for us about Horn Island. So let's just see what this, sometimes the small creators got the best analysis, right? Firsthand.
They got the passion.
Yep. So let's get into what he has to say real quick.
I got a lot to say about this. About the wells, and I spoke about this a couple of times before. The wells was a sacrifice, and they knew about it. His white friends know what they were going to do to him and take it to the island, and then take his phone. And that same island, Horn Island, there was slavery. Why are you gonna take somebody to the island that there was slavery? You can look at the descriptions you want to, and you can do your research yourself. It was a sacrifice. Like the lynching, all that, that's a sacrifice.
I agree.
These spots are spots that when they kill people.
Guys, I 1,000% agree and believe that lynchings were rituals and sacrifices. I believe that with everything in me. That's why it was a gathering around it to watch.
Yeah.
There were offerings. And so what he's saying makes perfect sense to me. Let's keep going.
Every black person that had something anti-black happen to them on July the 4th, y'all should receive that as a sacrifice for real.
Yeah.
Something that systematically happened is,
Right. And just because he doesn't have this fancy speech, like you guys know that I have a speech impediment, doesn't mean that what he's saying doesn't hold weight. I can't pronounce words well either, especially when I'm mad. But, let's just listen. Listen to what he got to say. Break down some stuff.
They never spoke about it. You can do your own research about this. I spoke about this on TikTok. And it's a real thing about it. A lot of people don't go deep into this. But I do. Other than that, my advice is do your research. Just do your research about this because it's a fact. They killed them for a reason. Stop trusting people that oppress your ancestors. Start trusting those who got power over you. Because this is their system. The more you trust these people, the more you're gonna look stupid. All I'm saying is that you can't go around trusting people. You can't go around trusting people who killed Nolan Wells. You can't trust people who murder you. And this is the point I'm making. if y'all have knowledge, and hopefully y'all do, look up the description. I'm from New Jersey. Look at my description, and that's all the evidence I need. Because Noel Williams, what's up? Nolan Wells was a sacrifice in the island. They murder him. They know they were about to do something. If you look at the description, like I said, at the description below, if you look at the description below, you will see what I'm talking about. Or look up Hard Island and slavery. Just look it up. Stop believing what other people tell you, because I can bring the evidence out. They're not going to do all the spy because they're going to make a lie up. Because this is what the hospitals do. The hospitals lie about things they're not going to tell you. Rest in peace to him and my condolences to his family. Because that was my daughter or my son, and their dad is my son, I'm putting justice in my own hand.
Exactly.
Simple as that. I'm not going to wait for the judge. I'm not going to wait for the police department. I'm going to take matters in my own hand.
There you go.
Because that's called balance. You reap what you sow. What goes around comes back around. And that's how it goes in my life. And it's to anybody who got children. Stop letting your children hang around with devils who's going to hurt you.
Go ahead.
And if you believe for 1 second that this tragic was not a sacrifice, and you got issues yourself. Nolan Wells was sacrificed.
Facts.
He died from a white kid mindset. He died from these devils. Caucasians. They've been doing this a long time to our ancestors. Our ancestors died from Caucasians. That's a fact. They would deny about drowning. They would deny all that.
Why they do it?
But they want to sit there and say, that this was a sacrifice. This was all sacrifice.
Homie hurt. He see it
To show and proving
he see it.
that these devils have no heart for nobody. It's a fact.
So why people keep trying that?
Look up Horn Island. Again, look up Horn Island and slavery. That island was
pause
slavery.
Just to pause it. So
I know more than you because if I want to challenge you,
he's
I will
trying to
go
bring
ahead
people to the
and
history.
you.
Right. He's
looking it up. Actually, go ahead.
Yeah, he's trying to bring people to the history. And to me, that's no different than trying to get someone to view from a moral perspective. If you look into the history, you make assumptions. You know, they say you're not supposed to make assumptions and innocent until proven guilty and all that, yada, 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 whatever. But that's a very potent history. And what occurred is something that was definitely reminiscent of that history. So why would it not be practical to assume that, you know, that had a historical hiccup? If it was accidental, okay. But that place was known for ritual. It was, you know, year 250. It was, you know, 4th of July. It was all kinds of stuff, right? The thing is, we've been denying the anti-black culture from a tribal stance that white people be having, right? It's like almost like a tribal thing with them. We deny that. I ain't saying all of them got that. I would say a lot of y'all probably got it because one, you choose white, and white is a power dynamic first and foremost, as opposed to just being, you know, pigmentation or a lack of pigmentation or whatever, right? So it's, you know, it's nothing personally, I have no problem with us making such assumptions. And the way that homie ain't even black. And listen to how he delivered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So listen, bro. Listen. So Horn Island has a documented connection to slavery. But its most clearly established history is as a place connected to black people seeking freedom.
And that's something.
That's something, ain't it? It says in September 2022, the National Park Service officially added Horn Island and Ship Island to its National Underground Railroad network to freedom.
Oh, hell no.
Is that
hell
part of the reason why they go there?
Oh, hell no.
Right?
Man.
It says the destination recognizes the island's connection to enslaved people who resisted bondage through escape and flight.
That is so unnerving. That is so unnerving. And then they don't have no transparency, and you get mad when, you know what I'm saying, people start doing threats or whatever. It's like, yo, it's not a good look.
Right. So with that being said, if it has connection to the Underground Railroad,
damn,
wouldn't it be a twisted, ritualistic mind to go there and to slain us? Modern day as a mockery or awful one of our people that look like me and you to whatever thing that they're worshiping, whatever demonic entity. I'm gonna show you this. Go ahead.
No, you guys just go ahead.
I want to show you guys this news clip of Horn Island so you can see what it looks like. And you will see some people dancing around a fire. Like, to normal people, you'll think, oh, it's just a what do you call it, a luau? I don't think that's what it is. Let's watch it.
But we are heading into the weekend, and as always, every Friday at 6, our Walt Grayson has a story for us as he focuses on Mississippi.
Now, we're traveling about as far south as you can go in Mississippi and still be on dry land. And Walt, I am assuming we're going beyond Gulfport and Biloxi.
Yes, that's exactly right. We're going to the land where Gulf Coast artist Walter Anderson found so much inspiration. How about let's take a trip out to Horn Island. Horn Island is a part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore, so it, along with several other barrier islands, are a national park. It's also a national wilderness area. There's nothing man-made on Horn Island, except a ranger cabin somewhere near the middle, and there's not always a ranger there. Anything else you might need, you have to bring it with you. And, of course, take it back when you leave. Horn Island is several miles long, but less than a mile wide at its widest point. And to the north is the Mississippi Sound. The water and the beaches there look about like they do on the Gulf Coast. But to the south is the Gulf of Mexico, and the water and beaches there look more like what you're used to in Florida, sugar white sand and turquoise water. Well, it's like that on a sunny day. Now, when a storm is brewing, the sea turns leaden gray, the waves are angry, and it's a powerful place just to stand and watch. There's a symmetry to a lot of nature on Horn Island, so I can see where Walter Anderson gets the idea for the repeated rhythms and patterns that we see in so much of his work. And the pine trees on Horn really do look like the ones Anderson renders in his watercolors. I thought they were caricatures until I saw the real pines, but that's what they look like. Sort of like spindly pines of Rome in Italy. Artists still come out to Horn Island for inspiration, alone sometimes, as members of groups a lot. They may stay overnight or a week or more. The day breaks silently with a whisper on the breeze and uncertainty in the air. It may be gray or it may be sunny, but each kind of weather brings out its own personality.
Okay, pause.
At nighttime, you make of it what you want. Luau, ritual dance around the fire, unveiling of the day's artistic work.
Wait a minute,
Even firing pottery at night takes on a...
Did you hear what he just said? A ritual dance?
Yeah.
Around the
Look at
fire?
them.
This is 5 years ago.
They're moving in a circle and shit. Okay, so that's 5 years ago.
This is 5 years
Interesting.
ago. He called this
Interesting.
a ritual dance
Yeah.
around the fire. I'm going to rewind it so you can hear it.
At nighttime, you make of it what you want. A luau, a ritual dance around the fire.
Now we know that's not no luau because those are not Samoans. I'm just saying. These are white people.
True that.
Huh? These are white. This is their prep dance.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not a luau. A luau is for Samoans in Hawaii.
Right.
This is real serious to them. They dressed up for the occasion.
And they
Let's
do
be
it
realistic.
all the time.
Yeah,
Interesting.
this is something that they do.
Yeah.
They do it so much that it made the news 5 years ago. I'm just saying, what it look like to you, Truth Gang?
True that.
Those ain't no Samoans. This is not a luau. It's more like a prep dance for sacrifice. I wonder who the sacrifice was 5 years ago. Maybe we need to look into that.
Look, just like Mud Pond or whatever it was that when they heard those local city representatives in that one city in Oklahoma talking about we should have strung them up by the trees or take them out by the lake or something like that. And they should have went and drained that lake. Like, look, we've been, as far as I'm concerned, is this whole race war, right? People always saying they're trying to start a race war, and it's like, well, wait a minute, we ain't kick nothing out. As far as I'm concerned, it ain't been a war about race. It's been a war. It's been a war about being. It's not race.
Right?
Well, not necessarily injustice, because the thing is, they don't really be having no beef with the black people that they kill in any of these things. These are people that they know. These are people that they know. They don't really have no beef with them. These are people that they know. And then we'll say, I love and
well, they do that, right? How else are they gonna get us out to the island?
I guess so. Nah, if you but some of them was his diaper homies, though, right? You know what I'm saying? Diaper buddies. Did he grow up with some of these folk?
It was a woman on TikTok the other day that says that in these communities they teach kids from birth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Let's get back. Hold on. Ritualistic is what he said. I didn't say it. He said it.
At nighttime, you make of it what you want. A luau, a ritual dance around the fire, an unveiling of the day's artistic work. Even firing pottery at night takes on a special flavor on Horn Island. Now, I'll admit, I'm not that much of an outdoorsman.
Now, why the hell are you doing pottery? That ain't pottery. It look like some type of weapon, but let's move on.
My idea of roughing it's when the air conditioner in the hotel room keeps waking me up when it cycles on and off. But if I were an artist, especially one who specialized in capturing nature and realizing it in my work, I'd be on Horn Island tonight.
Well, you go to Horn Island, Google it, or the Gulf Islands National Seashore, get more information about going out to Horn Island. But it really is just you and nature and whatever you brought in your backpack when you go out there.
All right, so what do you all think?
I've been seeing this guy, Chef Javo, on my timeline making these
out of here. So what do you all think? It looked like it was a daggone ritual to me, but I'm just saying.
They say nothing about the history. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even go into the history of it.
They don't
You know
want
what I'm
to
saying? The traumatic history that we're trying to move away from, here at Horn Island while we're dancing around in a circle like idiots. Hey.
I agree 1,000%. So now, guys, we are, let me see, where do I want to go now? I want to pull up, what is her name? Tasia?
Yeah.
I want to, that's crazy. I want to pull that up. Dr. Richie's video. And then I want to get into the history real before we leave tonight of Mississippi and the Dixie Mafia. Have you ever heard of them?
Nah, not
They had a biloxi.
No. Mafia, like mob, like mob.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mafia. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It runs very heavy.
if there's anybody trying to rock like Black Mob, what it do? You know what I'm talking about? You know, we need some mouseability in this motherfucker. We done had gangs. Gangs ain't working. Let's get some mouseability in this bitch.
Inbox Road, because he ain't supposed to be talking about this stuff in public like that.
It's in the future. Everything is already known. You got to know. You motherfuckers looking for me? Here I go.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. So let's get into. I think her name is it Tasia? I don't know. I don't want to chop her name. May she rest in peace. But let's listen to Dr. Ritchie's report, and then I want to get into the history. All right, let's go.
According to the Mississippi Free Press, full mass, Black woman whose body was found hanging from a tree behind a vacant Jackson, Mississippi home is 29-year-old Tasia Fortune. Tasia Fortune. The Hinds County Coroner's Office confirmed on Thursday. Authorities have not said if they suspect foul play. I want you to keep the picture up, Jordan. We talked about this last time, this pattern that says either A, we don't suspect foul play, or there's no evidence of foul play, or not saying there could be foul play. The fact that you have a dead body is reason enough to potentially suspect perhaps there's foul play. And if anyone has information that could perhaps bring justice to the foul play that has happened to this woman, we would like to engage the community. But they don't say that. The Jackson Police Department first announced in a statement on Monday evening that cops, quote, located the body. You heard me right. Officers located the body of an unidentified Black female at the 500 block of Road of Remembrance, a mostly Black neighborhood. At 9:05 that night, neighbors in this urban community contacted the police after finding her body, though it is not clear how long the body had been there. Hinds County Coroner Jeremiah Howard, who identified the body publicly, said earlier this week that the body would be transported to the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office to perform an autopsy. That autopsy is to determine the cause and the manner of death. Put him up. That's Kenneth Stokes. Mr. Stokes is the councilman for Jackson's 3rd Ward. He's actually speaking out about the death. He says it is murder. I want you to take a good look at the elected official, because Councilman Stokes wrote a letter to the U.S. Attorney's Office. He bypassed his local police department. Quote, "We are in dire need of the assistance of the U.S. Attorney's Office with the death of an unidentified female discovered hanging in the backyard of an abandoned house on the Road of Remembrance in Jackson, Mississippi. We especially are in need of the following details: by whom she was murdered, the motive for her murder, the confirmed name of the deceased, permanent address, as well as other pertinent information. We look forward to your response." End quote. Stokes said that even if there is no racial element to Ms. Fortune's death, Mississippi's history of lynching, and this is the point, the history of lynching alone must be consider. It's called context.
Yep.
Per WAPT, and that public officials need to speak out against what happened to her and say it is unacceptable. Quote, hanging is an activity, a crime that should never be an issue of being accepted by the public, he said in an interview. Another quote, hanging must never be an acceptable behavior. Let's go to Fortune's aunt. There's a GoFundMe page. Etta Avolio started a GoFundMe to help raise funds, cover the expenses for final arrangements. She says Fortune was a beloved daughter, sister, and friend whose passing has left her family devastated and heartbroken. During this lifetime, families go through ups and downs. And right now, Fortune's loved ones are facing one of the hardest moments they have ever known. She was a strong-minded, big-hearted, vibrant young woman whose life was taken at just 29 years old. Her loss has deeply shaken everyone who knew and loved her, and her family is now trying to begin healing while also facing the painful responsibility of saying their final farewells. We ask that you do the very best you can. Obviously, the local people understand their local politics as well as their criminal element, their bigotry that lives among them. The councilman has said it out loud. So much so, he put pen to paper. The authorities seem reluctant to call it racially motivated. A hanging from a tree in Mississippi of a young black girl. And the authorities who are in charge of the investigation will not say,
where's the love?
The obvious.
Where's the empathy?
That of
Where's the
course,
empathy?
Right.
it is more than potentially, it is likely.
This
based
country
on
does not
probability,
deserve my people.
historical record,
At all.
not be damned.
All right, guys, what do you all think? May she rest in peace. Hold on a second. May she rest in peace. It's sad.
Forever.
It's more than sad. You know what I mean? I kind of just go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's annoying. Go ahead. Nah.
It's past annoying. Like what happened?
Look, anytime the thing is, they've been calling these things suspension deaths since the late 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Earlier than that, right?
But that's how they get over, you know what I'm saying, someone being accused or suspension suicides or something like that. Right. The irritated genie of Southeast, shout out to him. He did some research into this about 15 years back, and he exposed a lot going on in Delaware, a lot going on in Tennessee, a lot going on in Georgia, all these since the late 80s. At that time, when it was around 2015 when he was doing his finished research. And so they've been labeling, y'all look into this, look into all these suspension deaths being ruled as suicides with black people hanging from fucking trees.
And that's the last thing we'll do, right?
If black people, if you commit suicide with in a hanging model, you're likely to do it how everybody else does it, in the house. Most people.
What about pow?
All people. No. We're talking hanging.
No, what I'm saying is in the house.
Tree.
Right.
No, but we're talking about being hanging from a tree being ruled as suicide.
Gotcha.
If black people hang themselves, it's gonna be in the house, like everybody else who hang themselves. No one hangs themselves from a fucking tree or a telephone pole.
I agree.
No one does that. Mississippi again, last year, or maybe was it 2 years ago? Mississippi with, you know what I'm saying, young brother, hanging on that fucking on Delta State or Delta, whatever it was. And they said he broken leg.
Trey Reed. Trey Reed. Yeah.
Trey Reed. But he hung himself with broken legs from a fucking tree. All these black people trying to make a statement
that's black culturally, you know what I'm saying, historically trauma connected to their family as they take themselves out? Do they expect us to believe this?
Yep. Everybody, please type justice for Nolan Wells. Hey, David, don't call me auntie. You are not my nephew. You are not Truth Gang. You don't have.
You don't have the empathy. David, where's your empathy? Hold up. This is what we got to ask them. This is what we got to start to ask them. Charge them to that humanity that they'll claim to have.
You don't have any. You don't even got a profile
Charge them
pic.
to it though. Charge them to it. Because the thing is,
No, I just want to do this.
They po it. Ebonically speaking, they po to have it. They po to.
Yeah, listen, you can't even call me auntie. I ain't your damn auntie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Let me ban him real quick. Don't come back here.
Nah, use him as a lesson. Use him as a lesson.
I can't even ban him. Somebody else got to ban him. And he ain't gonna be. He's not even worth my time, to be honest with you.
Some of these people actually show up though, simply just to be a troll. Yeah. And YouTube might send some of them your way. They just might. Auntie Leah, you've been telling too much truth.
Too funny.
We're watching you.
They love me secretly. Go ahead and send a super chatter too. Send a super chatter too. Since you like to show up for me all the time. But anyway, guys, let's get into the history of Jackson, Mississippi, and Biloxi and the prominent Dixie Mafia. Now we're about to watch an episode of the FBI files because that's how big it is, and it still exists today in Biloxi. Let's get into it, guys. Sit back, get your popcorn, get your notes, and let's ask these questions. Let's study it. I love true crime, so I don't mind watching the FBI files. I love true crime. Y'all, let's talk about it. We're not going to ever let up on Nolan Wells, Kendrick Johnson, Daniel Irvin, Tariq, none of them. And y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button.
They scare.
All right, let's get right into it. So maybe the trolls are leading now, and our true audience will just be here. I don't care if the true audience is just 40, 30 people. Love it. Let's go.
Bring on
Mississippi's Gulf Coast, a judge and his politician wife are murdered in their home. The killer left few clues. It looked like a professional hit, and the investigation led nowhere. But the FBI refused to give up. I'm Jim Kallstrom, former head of the FBI's New York office. Until we could prove that federal laws had been broken, our hands were tied. It would take years to break the conspiracy of silence and reveal the tangled tale of corruption.
This is a story about the Biloxi murders. This is when they murder a judge and his wife, all to cover up corruption. That they're saying that it says stream on available. I don't know why it said that. Let me see.
Did they count? Oh, they got you.
You know they be reporting.
Yeah,
so I guess they don't want me to play this video.
Okay, that's what it is. Why is it on the internet then? This is goofy.
It was interrupted. It says it was interrupted. That's what it says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says it's been suspended for a policy violation. They are getting me like every single place that they can try to get me. Let me see. So I might have to just end it for now.
I can dig it. Well, thank you for the sharpening. It's interesting.
Very interesting, right?
So it's still going for them, though. But the show ain't going. Notice that the chat is still going.
The chat is still going, yeah.
So how was it suspended, but they still ain't shut it down for them? We can read the chat. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I thought once they suspended. So hold on, I'm gonna try to talk to them. Say, what can y'all see?
Let me see.
This is interesting. What
This is very interesting.
can y'all see? What can y'all see? We could.
No warning. They report a lot. They just suspended it.
So how's it not ended?
Okay, but they say they see us. Do you guys see us?
Yo.
Oh, they said we're back up. These people are reporting and reporting. Listen, it is diabolical how they don't want us to show the truth about what's going down. I don't get it.
Woo! Wow. Well, I've never noticed that happen to the point to where they didn't cancel your joint.
Right? They didn't shut the whole live down. They suspended it. It's like, well, we on the fence, right? We on the fence.
Yeah.
She didn't do nothing.
Just stop saying it like that. You can say it. Just don't say it like that. All right.
Right. Like, she didn't do nothing. So we can't shut it all the way down, but let me shut this down. It's suspended.
We gonna shut you down a little bit.
Diabolical.
We gonna shut you down just a little bit, not all the way.
Justice for Nolan Wells, and just for that, let me do this real quick while I find out something else to watch. Because we not stopping. We are not stopping at all.
There's no
and just because you did that, let me play the song that pissed them all the way off.
Oh, word? All right.
Let's just wait. I'm gonna find something else. We're gonna find another clip.
Three boats went to Horn Island.
Let's find
Everybody
something
came
else.
back except Nolan Xavier Wells. They brought his phone home, but they left somebody's son behind. This time, we want every answer. Mississippi, cough 'em up, cough 'em up, cough 'em up. Yeah. 4th of July, headed out in the sun.
Everybody
3 boats
drop
on the
Justice
water,
for
but
Nolan
they
Wells
came
in the
back minus
comments.
1. Nolan was 18 with his whole life plan.
They
College
did.
football dreams and the future in his hands. They went to Horn Island, everybody there together. Sun on the coast, clear summertime weather. But something went wrong.
Hey, y'all, this is the song that got me on the list.
Boats left the island, Nolan somehow stayed. They said he made a choice, said he wanted to remain, but he cannot tell his side, so the question still remains. Why would he stay without his keys or his phone? Why would everybody leave and assume he made it home?
Who was the last one to see him on the sand? Who counted every person for the boats left land? Everybody got a story, but the timeline got a hole. Mississippi tell Christine what happened to her soul.
Hey!
Her baby didn't come home. Her baby couldn't call.
Justice for Nolan Wells.
But nobody knew it all. If you were there with Nolan, come forward with the truth. A mother needs an answer. What happened to her youth?
Listen, y'all, listen.
Cough 'em up this time. Bringing boys forward, put the truth on the line. We are not declaring guilt, we are demanding facts. Tell us what happened to Nolan and don't hold nothing back. Cough 'em
Cop 'em up, Mississippi.
Every phone and every boat, every picture, every message, every word that they spoke. His mother needs the truth, his father needs it too. Call from up Mississippi, tell us what happened to Nolan. Cough up the truth, bring every hidden detail to the light. Cough up the truth, Mississippi, get it right this time. 4:31, they reportedly pulled away. But when was Nolan last independently seen that day? There's a window in the timeline, questions in between. What happened after 4 and what did witnesses see? One boat taking water, bills pumped, acting strange. A call went out for help, then the energy seemed to change. Voices in the background, confusion on the line. Who was on which vessel at that exact time? They reached the mainland, moved from place to place, but nobody turned around to search the island for his face. His mother knew a baby would not vanish on his own. After midnight, she reported that her son had not come home. Search teams hit the water when the morning brought the light. Then July 6th, the living news that shattered every life. Nolan's body found, but the questions only grew. Finding him was not the same as finding out the truth. Her baby didn't come home. Her baby couldn't call.
All right, y'all. All right. Shout out. Cough them up, Mississippi. Cough them boys up. So, before we end the live tonight, let's go ahead and watch the video that was just released with Ben Crump with the update on the Nolan Wells case. Okay, if that sounds good. Yeah, they shut us down for no reason. Come on. That show came out in 1989.
Well, we was doing too much to it.
I guess we was just trying to teach. I'm gonna find a different one. Watch. Let's go.
But go to
Ridiculous.
1983.
I mean, it's so much I want to ask you. It's so much I want to get into. I know you're a busy guy, so I don't want to take up that much of your time. Nolan Wells, for the people that's unfamiliar with that case, can you break that down?
Certainly. Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old black teenager who, on 4th of July, was celebrating with his friends, and he went out on Horn Island. He went with his 3 other friends, at least what we have in the photograph, and they were young white teenagers. He was the only black teenager, and somehow they all came back home safely on the 4th of July, but Nolan Wells did not come home. His mother, their families announced that he was missing. They were, out of their mind with concern. And then his body was found washed up on shore 2 days later, face down, dead.
What did you say, bro?
No offense, you feel me?
No, I don't think. Listen.
No offense. He get the job done apparently, but I'm just asking. You know what I mean?
Listen.
It's kind of
If Ben Crump is on the spectrum, I gotta say I am too. But I have a speech impediment. I couldn't even say that word. I have a speech impediment. What that is my mind and my mouth, the words don't align. So I have to do it really slow. So I believe he went to speech class. I believe he has a speech impediment, and he went to speech class, which teaches you to speak slower, so that the words,
no disrespect,
can come out. So I believe that's what he does. He speaks slow because he's trying to get the words right.
Right.
Like I can't get them right. If I'm just going off the top of my head, but anything comes out because my mind, my brain is faster, right, than my mouth. So it doesn't come out right. So he speaks slow because of that. That's what they teach you in speech class, if that makes sense.
Why don't they teach you to keep up with the speed then? You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever heard of pimp spit?
You can.
The motherfuckers can spit that shit 100 miles an hour and keep that shit directly.
Speech class doesn't it doesn't like rewire your brain.
I can dig it.
It just teaches you how to speak.
I'm a former stutterer.
Well, I still stutter.
Yeah.
I still stutter.
Did you get hit in the back of the head? You know what I'm saying? You was little. And
no, my dad is hereditary.
Spit it out. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's just hereditary. My dad I didn't know what hell he was talking about. But it's just hereditary.
I can dig it.
So he just speaks slow because of that reason. Let's go.
And so then everybody started to try to say, well, what happened? When you look at the videos, there were 300, 400 people out there. And what we've been saying, somebody knows something, somebody saw something. There was a young lady named Katie who said that, you know, she was talking to Nolan, but then he got back on the boat with the people he came with, or got back on the boat with the boys. And the boys who were on the boat with him said, Nolan said he was gonna stay behind with Katie, and that he was not going to go back with them. One of the things that has been bewildering is the fact that if he says he's going to stay behind, why doesn't an 18-year-old get their cell phone? If they're not going to go with the boat, why would they leave it with them? His mother, you know, called his phone 3 times, got no answer after they started getting concerned. And it was when they did the Life 360, you know, trying to say, find my phone, is when she found out that the phone were with the friends. And so her friend went to get the phone. And when they got the phone back, they discovered that there were a lot of Snapchat messages that were deleted. They also found that there were some texts deleted. So that was very concerning to them as they're trying to figure out, you know, what happened to my child? Our child is dead and we have no answers. Nobody's telling us anything. And so it became just an incredibly painful ordeal for them trying to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And then America became engaged in this matter because
it is listening to
wasn't
this cat.
adding up to anybody. You know, he says, I'm gonna stay behind, but he leaves his cell phone. He doesn't have his car keys.
Hey, sister, can you put the speed on 1.5
If he
with him?
stand behind and you don't have any of that information, people are saying, did he stay behind? And so that becomes a question. And, you know, obviously there's this CETO audio that comes out that people have did forensic audio engineering on it to try to see what was being said on the audio recording of the CETO kind of 911 type call. And it's in that call that people say they hear certain things. We have retained audio engineering experts to be able to decipher and to render expert opinions on the validity of the CETO 911 audio that seems to suggest things about the presence of Nolan. And so we are trying not to speculate, we're trying to investigate, but we are asking questions that don't add up to us. And that's what everybody's been doing, because everybody says, how can this 18-year-old college football player who's in tip-top shape just go missing and nobody knows anything? Nobody's seen anything. And the sheriff within, hours after he was discovered, his dead body, they claimed that, that no foul play, accidental drowning is what they suggest. And his family are saying, we can't accept that when you make that conclusion without doing no investigations. And so what they want is a full, impartial, fair investigation into what happened to Nolan Wells. In our community, we see people investigated very zealously. And so we want the same thing for our children. We want them to zealously investigate this matter, just as if they would if the roles were reversed. And that's what I think has people in the minority community saying, hold on, We want to know what's on everybody's phone.
The
We want to know
minority
social media
community.
because
Hey,
all of that
homie,
could
he call
become
us
very
minorities.
relevant information as to what happened to Nolan Wells.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the woman that Nolan was hanging out with when he was at the island, Katie, her sister, Gracie, came out and said that Nolan intended to go back to the mainland with his friends, right?
Yeah, there seems to be a conflict in what they're saying. They said he stayed with the young lady. The young lady said no, he got back on the boat. And so, that seems to be one of the biggest issues that everybody is trying to figure out, as well as the independent autopsy where he had red discoloration at the back of his brain that was found in the second autopsy, and also the fact that the initial state medical examiner kept possession of Nolan Wells' throat, and we don't know why they did that. Our pathologist, Dr. Roger Mitchell, said when he was the chief medical examiner for the city of Washington, D.C., that they normally would do that it wasn't uncommon if they suspected that there might be some fracture or some compressions to the throat.
Yes.
So after y'all did the autopsy, from what you know, what do you believe that was?
That's the only reason why you keep it, though.
We
If you think that there has been potentially some trauma to it, that you
Dr. Roger
need to look
Mitchell
deeper into it.
have the benefit of looking at all the autopsy notes and observations and photographs from the first autopsy, and then have, the state medical examiner be able to look at all of his notes from the second autopsy and try to work together to figure out what conclusions that they can draw from the autopsies, both of them. And then also waiting for toxicology. That becomes a factor in finding out the manner and cause of death. But Dr. Mitchell said, and this is very, very important, he said, if it's a drowning, then that still doesn't answer the whole question of what happened to Nolan Wells, because he said then there are questions about, was Nolan Wells' condition of his body conscious or unconscious when he went into the water? Furthermore, he said, did he go into the water unforced or forced? He said all those things become factors.
Makes a lot of sense. And I know his friend Warren Hudson, he came out with an interview where he made a statement about how Nolan, he was drinking liquor on the boat. You heard about that?
Well, we don't know.
Everybody
We want
was
the toxicology to
drinking
come.
on
We
the
know
boat. That's what
when
you
you
do
hear the
on the
CTO
boat.
audio call,
Everybody
it
that go
appears that
fishing,
there
they know
was
they drink
some
when they on the
intoxication.
boat. What
But
the
again,
fuck is this?
toxicology can tell us that. And
Trying
people's
to eat fucking
firsthand
college kids.
eyewitness testimony
That's what y'all do.
can tell us that.
Everybody
We
drinking
want
college.
answers. As I've said over and over again, I am for truth, no matter who it
fucking
implicates
insulting.
or who it exonerates.
It is.
I am for justice, no matter who it convicts or who it acquits. And I
He
am
was drinking.
certainly for
He was doing
transparency.
coke.
So
You the
all
type
us
of
can see
motherfuckers that got coke and boats and dope and all that shit.
impartial.
You got something to say, brother? You over here going off. Go ahead. Do it.
It's just it's so annoying because it's like, look at who he was partying with. You don't think he gonna party like them? Of course he's gonna party like them. He wasn't the one that brought. If it was coke, on
Who
the
bought
boat
it?
and some dope, yeah, who the fuck bought it? He wasn't the one that brought it for everybody and turned everybody out, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Get the party started. Was Nolan known for that? Nah. If he drowned, then you stupid motherfucker should have said that he drowned when somebody first asked y'all. Y'all didn't even. Nobody knew what the fuck happened. We just knew that he was dead. From
All
wherever.
they said was no apparent foul play.
Yeah. What the
That's
fuck?
all they said.
If his friends knew that he drowned, you say he drowned.
And why
No,
cover it up?
I mean, when you had the open window right there to tell them, look, open it. Nolan like the party. Nolan get crunk. Nolan get turned.
We know
Nolan
it's
get-
not true though, right?
I'm
Because
saying, but
the
if they
very
would-
next, I think in a couple of days or that Monday, he had to do drug tests and tryouts.
I'm
for,
saying if they would have said that when the first speculations came to them, then it would have been a lot more difficult to have a motivation to look as deep as people are looking into it. They didn't say that. They just, everybody was like, we don't know nothing. We don't know nothing at this fucking island where y'all had at least 30 fucking boats out there.
Right.
With what, like 1,000 people?
More than that.
Then they say it was 1,000 or more, and nobody know what happened with little bro. Nobody.
Nothing. Yep.
The fuck?
I agree. Let's keep going. My brother over here growling, y'all.
A complete investigation.
That's
what everybody would want if this was their child.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been hearing this going around that Nolan Wells' mom is getting threats.
Yeah, there are a lot of sick people in this world. She's a nurse, and she hasn't gotten negative reviews in her career, but since she has been standing up and speaking out saying, we want answers, we want to know what happened to our son, somebody knows something, we're fighting for our son to get justice. We don't think that he would just drown and nobody would see anything. And for that she's been getting attacked at her job from saying she's not a good nurse, that she's been getting negative reviews. And it's very troubling because it just adds to the trauma that they're having to deal with after losing an 18-year-old son and having no answers about why your son is dead. I mean, he was preparing for his football season. He was doing phenomenally well. He said this was going to be his year. His father, who also was an athlete, they were focused in on this, and now they're having to answer to his little brothers. Why is our big brother dead?
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that she even receiving hate mail.
Oh man, they're getting all kind of attacks and threats, and
but no arrest for them.
It's just a shame before God. We come and we start trying to fight for the life of this young black child and to get answers, and then we get threats and death threats and attacks and hate mail and all this stuff. But we're used to it because this is what we do. We're civil rights lawyers, and we know that civil rights leaders have always been attacked. Whether it was my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall, his life was always under threat when he was just trying to find out how did black people end up hung in trees, castrated with their eyes bulged out. But they would blame us as being race baiters when we're saying, hold on, we want answers because if this was your loved one, this was your family, wouldn't you want answers too? I mean, but we're made to be the people who are the bad people, and that is fine because they did it to, Thurgood Marshall.
It's not fine.
They did it to Martin Luther King. They did it to Medgar Evers. They did it to Fannie Lou Hamer. They did it to, Ida B. Wells, who documented that the state of Mississippi is the state
it's just part of the struggle. Ass whooping is part of the struggle
of America.
Fuck that.
And all of them were attacked for just trying to shed light, to speak truth to power, to try to say we have rights as Americans to the Constitution and to vote and to have the right to life and not to be wrongfully convicted. But all of those people I named my heroes were condemned by the state of Mississippi while they were fighting for equal rights. And so, if people are going to condemn us,
about the culture?
Then I guess we're in good company with Thurgood Marshall and Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and Fannie Lou Hamer and the great Ida B. Wells. I'm okay being in that company. My ancestors fought for us to be able to have a voice and speak truth to power. And shame on us if we don't speak truth to power when we have all of the education and legal acumen and resources to be able to go give a voice to those who don't have a voice, to be able to help fight for marginalized people, to help fight for what my grandmother called the least of these. Shame on us if we don't stand up and fight for them because our ancestors fought for us.
And you receiving threats too, right?
Oh man, they're making all kind of attacks and threats on me and
pause it
Reverend
right
Al
there.
and
Pause it
anybody
right
else
there.
who's standing up. But we're used to that. That's just a distraction,
Right, let's go, brother.
He's putting this into primarily some black kind of dynamic with it, but won't say race. A lot of folks, they won't say race. The thing is, the dynamic that I put toward it is the objective one. Is it's as if I wasn't black.
Okay.
It still looked just as suspect. It still looks like it's tied to the same anti-black history of ritualization that they've been doing the whole time or whatever.
Right.
I don't say this as a black man. I say this as somebody that can see the facts and read the history and see the factors involved, and it don't add up. And if it don't add up, that ain't got nothing to do with color. The thing is, you know what I mean? So I think what he's trying to put to us, Martin Luther King, he called forth them and all that. And it's like, well, nah, look, you need to understand when you understand what it is that you're facing. If the state of Mississippi stands against you within your full citizen's right of demanding a citizen's justice, what kind of citizen are you in that state?
This is true.
What's the level of your citizenry? If it can go, unacknowledged or under acknowledged.
I agree.
The thing is, you have to understand when your justice or the justice that you desire, you're going to be the only one to craft that for you. Because if the system tries to present it, it's going to present it with slight. It starts off out of pocket. I don't know. It's the fact that him and Al Sharpton show up. It's like, all right, what y'all trying to make this into? For you said, the minority, all this. Nah, say black, man, or if you or say mixed, because he's not just black, he's mixed.
Right.
So, but the thing is, if this is how you know how potent whiteness is as a power dynamic and a ruling dynamic, because even a mixed person just merely becomes black, and it's like, well, nah, wait a minute, what about his mama's half? Ain't just his father's half, you know what I'm saying? What about his mama's half? Yeah, he's biracial.
They silent. They're silent as a church mouse. They don't speak up for us. If you got 1 centimeter of black in you, you're African American on your birth certificate. Hell, my husband's birth certificate says colored. And he's from Mississippi. He was born in Mississippi. His birth certificate says colored. Crazy work.
I think my parents' birth certificate says colored too. Oh, mine says black though.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
And we won't ever let them distract us. We're singly focused. We're on a ferocious search for the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells. And hopefully everybody who claims to have known Nolan or befriended Nolan, hopefully they want that same truth. They like, we want to fight to show what is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as to what happened to Nolan Wells.
I want to go back to Nolan Wells' cell phone, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Nolan Wells' mom had no idea that his friends had his cell phone, right? She had to use the app to find out?
Well, she used the Life 360 app to find out where Nolan's phone was located. Yeah. Well, she called the phone 3 times and no answers, and she used the Life 360 app to find out where it was at. So she's suspicious because of those things, because she's saying, my son, they don't believe would have just stayed back because they said that was uncharacteristic of them. And then they're saying, and they don't think their 18-year-old son would not have stayed back on the island without his cell phone because he has no means of communications. So those are the things that to them are very questionable. And as we say, they're not adding up. So it's those type of things that we're trying to get to the bottom of, because, man, when our 18-year-old children and our children end up unalive in very questionable ways, a lot of times they just sweep it under the rug. I mean, you never find out what happened. And I think that's why so many people with this Nolan Wells case are engaged.
Well, sometimes you can't on platforms.
You just think somebody.
And that's that they're taking your reality away from you. If you can't call your reality exactly as you live it.
There's so many people out there. How does nobody?
You probably got rules.
If
welcome to 1984.
It's a drowning, nobody sees them go in the water. Nobody tries to help them. I mean, it just doesn't add up, is what we're saying.
All those people there.
The fact that
look how they messed with me.
I was very grateful to his parents, Christine, his mother, his father, Elmore.
The Art of Dialogue has a huge platform. So he has to protect it, and that's probably why he's using those words. And I get it. That's probably where their income comes from. I have a job. I do this part-time. So I get it.
Attention that they've gotten to help bring attention to other tragedies that were similar, where 18-year-old black boys end up being unalive. And there's so many questions about it. One such is Daniel Irvin that happened outside of Dallas, Texas. He, within 3 months of 4th of July, got picked up by his friends to go on, I guess, a fishing trip. He was the only black kid amongst them. I guess he allegedly accidentally drowns. And instead of his friends saying that initially, they threw away his cell phone, threw away his clothes, and deleted all of their text messages with him. Now, his mother and their family are going out of their mind, his mother, Tamika, about where is my son? And the police don't seem to be helpful initially, which is an issue when black people go missing. It's not seem to be taken as serious. And we have a whole pattern of that where black people saying, you aren't concerned about missing black people like you are missing white people. And so his mother is begging them. And she has all the receipts where she's trying to get them to go search for her 18-year-old son, Daniel Irvin. And so it's 4 days later after, it's becoming a big deal, like what happened to her 18-year-old son, that one of the boys and his parents come forward and they say, we panicked, he drowned, he jumped into the water and he drowned and we panicked. So we threw away his cell phone, threw away his clothes and deleted the text messages. We lied about it and that kind of thing. Now we're telling the truth. And his mother is still not believing because she's saying, my son was on the high school swim team. My son was really good in water. So how are you telling us that he drowned? I mean, if you lied about and deleted his text messages with you, you lied about throwing away his clothes, you weren't honest about that. You were not honest about his cell phone when you threw it away. So how can I believe you when you say I'm telling the truth about
demonic.
him
That's
drowning?
just demonic.
I mean, it's just troubling, man.
That's demonic.
So she's saying, no, she wants a grand jury. She wants people to look into this because she is not accepting that her 18-year-old son, Daniel Irvin, died from an accident drowning. She wants these two individuals to be zealously investigated. It took 3 months for them to even be charged with the tampering with evidence. Even after they came and confessed that they threw away his cell phone and his clothes and deleted messages. So that's what we're fighting for, is answers to how our children, these 18-year-old black boys, became unalive. And then the third one is even more mind-boggling. I mean, just mind-boggling. Tyler Smith in Lexington, Kentucky, also on 4th of July, was at a 4th of July house party.
Rituals.
He's the only African-American black kid there.
Say black.
He somehow is shot in his head, dead.
What?
911 is called.
Yep.
The police come, and they say he accidentally shot himself because we were playing Russian roulette. And the police take their word for it. They don't do a gunshot residue on his hands. I mean, it's like investigation forensics 101. If you're claiming a person shot themselves or committed suicide, you do the
that's why I don't call
residue
this shit
to the
law,
hand
because
till
they make
got
it
gunshot
flexible for
residue in
them when
their
they want
hand.
it to be.
But they told his mother and grandmother they didn't need to do that because they were playing Russian roulette. I mean, it's crazy, but it gets even worse. They say this is the gun he shot himself with. The police take it, they do an analysis, and then they come back and say, well, the cases that we found don't match the gun y'all say he shot himself with. So then the mother and grandmother say, y'all have to investigate everybody who was there. And they do that. And then after 7 days,
could you sit on these type of mysteries
one of the young man's house
with your children?
And then
could you sit on these
comes
mysteries
out and
like
he
this?
volunteers that, well, this is that gun.
I
here.
talk about
And
every case with my children. To be totally honest, no, I don't.
I couldn't sit on no mystery of my child being killed.
Nope.
I just couldn't do it. And they got
actually
people who they suspecting, but they ain't saying nothing. I'm going hunting for real. Yeah.
Where
you going hunting?
justice, ain't you?
I'm finna taste it. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Street justice.
It ain't got nothing to do with the street. We wherever it happens, it's got to feel good though. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't got the street justice. Nah, this is human. This is humanity. This is humane.
Human justice, right?
I'm not calling this shit street. No matter where the streets or the field or wherever it is, it's just humanity. You know.
Right.
Make you want to holler the way they went into my life. So everybody is not going to alchemize that energy into love. I understand that there's a whole lot of black people that do. I can't do it. I told myself as a kid I wasn't gonna do nothing like that. I can't do it. And the fact that they still pulling the very same shit that they was pulling when I was a child, it really it makes you think that the earlier black generations had you wasting your time.
I feel you.
It really does. Because it's like
it didn't work when Dr. King was alive.
Well, it didn't work. What was the overall intention? Because that's what was it integration? That can't be. It had to be more.
Segregation.
It had to be more than it had to be more than integration, right? The intention had to be more than just integration.
Segregation.
Because it seemed like that's all that the motherfuckers got. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it. Just integration. Here you go. But all the other qualities that you know what I'm saying you had before in your integral segregated selves, no, right? And no, we're not going to set up the system to assist you in that citizenry that will purport that you now have. We're fellow class citizens. Are you shitting me? You know, they just celebrate 250. And when they celebrate 250, they kick off like this.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying back then, you know, sticks and stones can break your bones. Words will never hurt you. Not all. I mean, you've been hearing not all. You know what I'm saying? Since like first grade or something. And it's like, all right, we're not counting all. It's not all. It's how the system is purported to work with those who are following its rules, following its laws, doing, you know what I'm saying, whatever. This motherfucker seem to have an appetite for us and permit those to have an appetite for us. What's supposed to stop it? If the system itself won't stop it, and the system says that you're still supposed to be in a position to utilize the system to stop it or whatever, and it still don't work with you, then what do you do?
Right.
What are you left with? What's your only alternative? If the system it complies with that which it tells you it ain't gonna do, and that you can help stop.
I hear you. 1000%.
You're not hanging nobody in my family. I'm not coming hunting for you. You ain't hanging nobody.
I feel you, bro.
Everybody that permitted, police, whoever the fuck involved, you permit my family. What? And want to call it a suicide? I ain't that. I ain't. This way we playing? Could they have played with us like this back in the 1920s, the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, 60s, you know, however it is? It's like they playing. It's like they fucking playing with us now. They've reached such a level of being comfortable, and now they playing with us.
They playing with us for sure. All right, guys. Let's get back into it, but he's right.
Match it up, and they show that this is the gun that killed Tyler Smith. Now, imagine that. Imagine that. This is a person that took a gun away from the scene of the killing. I mean, and they only charge him with tampering with evidence. And his mother, his grandmother, and their family of Tyler Smith are saying, you're not going to charge them with the death of our child? I mean, if they didn't do nothing nefarious, why would they take the gun from the scene? And so it's those things that we are fighting to get answers for. To say, no, we want a full and fair and transparent investigation for Nolan Wells, for Daniel Irvin, and for Tyler Smith. If it was your child, wouldn't you want the same?
So many conflicting stories, so many red flags based on what I'm hearing and what's being reported. It sounds like it can be foul play.
Yeah, and that's what the families are saying. We want to know if foul play was involved in our children being unalived. That's what Nolan Wells' family is asking, because it's not adding up to them. And that's, the family of Nolan Wells is asking and trying to dot every I and cross every T to see if there was foul play involved in their son being unalived. And that's all they're asking. And then Daniel Irvin's mother, she is saying, is there foul play involved in my 18-year-old child, Daniel Irvin, being unalived? And then with Tyler Smith, his family is asking, is there foul play involved in my 18-year-old son being unalived? 3 black families, 3 black 18-year-old boys, all unalived, and a search for the truth in all of them.
Nolan Wells' friend, Warren Hudson, his dad came out with a $50K reward for anybody that got information on Nolan Wells. You heard about that?
Yes. Reverend Al Sharpton, Mr. Tyler Perry, Mr. Tara Owens, and now this person have all put up rewards for anybody who has information or answers about what happened to Nolan Wells. And so I say, good. If anybody else want to help us get to the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells, we welcome it, because that's all his mother and father have been saying from day one.
You personally, with all the information you know, what do you personally believe happened to Nolan Wells?
Well, we don't want to speculate because we're representing the family when we want to investigate everything. But I will tell you, we got investigations going in every aspect of the case. Investigators are talking to people who call into the tip line. We have, audio engineering experts listening to the CTO 911 audio tape. We also have oceanography experts looking at the facts of what has been put forth, that he was found primarily in the same place where he was apparently at. And so we're looking at the oceanography of the high tides and the low tides, because, they move bodies back and forth. So, why wasn't his body discovered on Saturday or the next day then? Why would it take 2 days? We're asking every question, trying to answer every question, because we want to get to the truth. And hopefully that's what other people should be doing versus trying to attack. Let's go find the answers.
So my thing is this: I know Snapchat, it got its own rules, and after 24 hours, they delete the post, but it got to be some kind of way y'all can still get the content, right?
Well, that's a great question. What we did, we opened up an estate for Nolan Wells where his mother is over their estate, and we issued subpoenas to, all of Meta, Snapchat, all the phone services, because we want that evidence to be preserved. Because what people were texting from July 3rd to, July 7th, July 8th becomes very relevant to, everything. I mean, young people text and social media, what they were saying may help lead to some information that we can glean to some conclusions on certain things that happened on that night and in question that whole weekend. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be thorough in our investigation.
Because it still got to be there, even though it's not on Snapchat no more. They still got to have it, right?
Well, that's the good thing we believe about technology and digital footprints. You can always go find it. And so we are on a ferocious search for the truth. We're trying to dot every I. We're trying to cross every T. We're trying to look under every rock, because we want to know what happened to Nolan Wells. There were 300, 400 people out there on Horn Island that 4th of July. Somebody knows something. Somebody saw something. We want to know.
With all the people that was there, someone seen something.
It doesn't make logical sense at all about what happened.
People, nobody saw
out
nothing.
there, and nobody sees it.
What a crap.
I mean, it defies logic in many ways. You're saying, hold on, people, out here, they got videos, they got pictures, they got eyewitnesses to be able to testify to what they saw. And so that's what we want. And so we've gotten a lot of people to, call into the tip lines saying what they saw and offer videos and offer photographs. So we're putting this together. I do believe we're going to find out what happened to Nolan Wells because too many people were out there. Somebody had to
The
see
ritualistic
something. And
murder.
all we're saying, the reason why we're trying to keep this, in the stream of public consciousness and public facing, because we know through history, if we don't keep ringing the alarm, they just sweep it under the rug. They sweep the death of our children right under the rug as if their life didn't matter at all. But our children's life matters. Nolan Wells' life mattered. Daniel Irvin's life mattered. And Tyler Smith, life mattered. All our children, life mattered.
Yeah, if nothing gets done, it's going to keep happening.
Exactly. And we want to prevent
the way you
this
said
because if we don't have transparency and accountability,
I hear you, brother. I hear
it
you.
will continue to happen.
I've been hearing this rumor that Nolan Wells, he got into a fight. You know anything about that?
Well, we have people who have said they believe Nolan was in some kind of altercation, but we need to verify that. Everything is speculation until we can verify it. And so that's what we got to do, verify stuff. It is alleged, but we have not verified that yet.
The autopsy that was done by the state of Mississippi, I've been hearing that they won't release it.
Yeah, we want transparency. We think that is key in this case. People being able to have transparency so they can see and they can trust the investigation. So we don't know when the state of Mississippi is going to release the autopsy, but we feel they should release the autopsy. We feel that, everything should be transparent and able to be consumed by the public so the public can have trust in the investigation into the death of Nolan Wells. We released our autopsy because we are trying to be transparent. We want to be very clear. We believe in transparency, so we asking them to be transparent as well.
You were speaking about it earlier about how you was getting backlash. What's the issue? Like, why is you getting backlash?
Well, it's like they want us to be well-behaved victims. And I refuse to be a well-behaved victim. If our children are dying, you want us to just stay silent? What was it? The governor or somebody said, y'all just leave Mississippi and let us do our work. Well, how has that worked out for Black people throughout history? So they can say what they want to say. Like I said, they've attacked all of my heroes. And so if they're attacking me, I feel like I'm in good company.
So what's the next step in the Nolan Wells case? What can we look forward to?
Well, everybody's waiting for the state of Mississippi to release their autopsy. And the matter, as the district attorney has said, is going to be presented before a grand jury. We don't know when that is going to happen. We don't know when they're going to conclude their investigation. But what we know is we're going to stay focused and vigilant, and we're not going to be distracted because we're on a journey and we're leading a ferocious search for the truth of what happened to Nolan Xavier Wells.
If it's somebody out there that knows what happened to Nolan Wells, what do you personally want to tell them?
Yep. As Nolan's mother and father said, if you're out there and you were Nolan's friend, they said, do what Nolan would do for you had the roles been reversed. They said, Nolan would have spoke up about what he saw, what he knew. If you care anything about Nolan, they said, please come forward and tell what you know. That's all they're asking for. And to everybody out there who has been supporting this family, everybody on social media who have been standing to get to the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells, thank you. Thank you all. We together can figure this out. As I've often said, we're all co-counsels in this, trying to find out the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells.
Ben Crump, great interview, very insightful. Words can explain how much I appreciate you for coming through. I know you're a real busy guy. So, hey, man, we got to bring you back, man, so you can keep us updated on this case, man. But thank you, man. Thank you for coming through.
Hey, thank you, champ. Thank you for having the art of dialogue. We need to continue to do it even more.
Salute. Shout out to everyone that is fighting for Nolan. I'm just going to say this before we end the live tonight, because we are at the 3-hour mark, past it, that it is imperative that we do not stop speaking this name. regardless of the threats, regardless of the spin narrative and the threats of lawsuits and all that is going on. What do you think, brother?
I think that this is one that has more people searching for what's clearly missing. The fact that they were so flippant in the beginning was their flaw. They shouldn't have been so flippant. Everybody can look at this and see how wrong this was, and can, you know what I'm saying, pretty much infer to what likely happened with the same facts involved. So it's like, all right, you know, I don't know. It's clearly a cover up. Reason for that cover up, I suspect they just don't want them rich white person's children to go to prison or get death row.
They caught the boys up this time.
I mean, but the thing is, they're going to draw it out, right? They're going to draw it out because they have a flimsy, thin, you know, stance, and even the public is able to ascertain a more solidified stance than what, you know, so any of the state has been providing, and that's sad. That's sad, and again, it just makes them look even worse. It's like, look, y'all got caught. You know what I'm saying? You got caught. Give it up.
Give it up.
Cough it up.
Cough them up. Cough them boys up.
Cough them up. Shit, you got caught. You know what I'm saying? You know, pop go to weasel. It is what it is.
It is.
You lost one. You know what I'm saying? Some you win, some you lose. This was one that you lost.
Because that audio is damning.
Yeah. Damn, Bart.
Damn it, Bart. Oh my God. Is he dead? Nolan, wake up.
No,
check his chest.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna have to cough him up this time, Mississippi.
Yeah. Sorry. You're not going to be able to send those blokes to the schools that you want to. They's finna go to the pokey.
Listen, not gonna be able to do it. Not this time. Cough them boys up.
Cough them up and take them to the pokey.
With that being said, should I play the Truth Gang anthem on the way out, or should I play Cough them up?
Hey, cough them up is kind of heart wrenching. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think the Truth Gang joint.
Truth Gang anthem.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna play the Truth Gang anthem on the way out. Y'all meet us tomorrow. I love y'all. It's Truth
Love
Gang.
back. Peace.
See y'all tomorrow.
No love. No violence. We stand on facts. Yes, Lord, if it don't add up, we don't ride. No feelings in it, we won't prove. Standing 10 toes on the truth.
Welcome, Jamie.
No spin, no disguise. No, we see through every lie. We do pressure on them every time.
Hey.
Crush Truth Gang, never fall in line. Never move our rumors, I verify first. If the story's shaky, I dissect every word. Cross-check facts, I don't play with assumptions. If it don't make sense, I'm pressing the button. Independent mind, I don't follow the crowd. If the truth get buried, I'm digging it out. They be talking loud, but they stand on nothing. I'm building a case while they building discussions. No bias in my lens, I don't lean left or right. If it's wrong, I'ma call it on sight. Every claim get tested, every angle review. We don't chase opinions, we align with the proof. What's no, we all up, don't ride. No feelings in it, we won't prove. Standing 10 toes on the truth. Nope, we see through every lie. We do. Pressure on them every time. Pressure, Truth Gang, never fall in line. No shortcuts taken, we follow the trail. Even if it led somewhere, people won't tell. I don't care who involved, I don't care who it hit. Truth don't pick sides. closet, expose what it is. Every detail, man, I'm zooming in from the start to the end, where the gaps where it been. If the timeline off, then the story collapse, and I'm bringing it up. I ain't letting it pass. We don't fold under pressure, we applied it instead. They be hoping we stop, we apply it again. 10 toes planted, we ain't moving for nothing. Truth gang solid, yeah, we stand on something. It don't matter where we go. It don't matter what it shows. We know truth ain't easy, but it's necessary. Yeah. Truth over everything that's false. That's all. If it don't add up, we don't rock.
Peace and love, y'all.
No feelings,
Yeah,
we won't prove. Standing 10 toes on the truth. No cap, no spin, no disguise. Nope. We see through every lie. We do. Pressure on them every time. Pressure truth gang. Yeah, we stand on truth. Truth gang.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for coming. Please like, share, and subscribe. Come back again.